All I want to know is who's coming with me? Who's coming, man? Who's coming with me? Huh? Who's coming with me, man?
Just let your soul glow. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul, baby, feeling oh so silky smooth. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul glow.
So glow.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every f***ing game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. If you're raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313. And by my side is my special guest of the night, Mr. Dustin from Cold Front Buffalo. What up, Dustin?
What's going on, Tommy? I appreciate you having me. Just real quick, last name is, believe it or not, my last name is Corbett. Corbett, just like Austin Corbett. So this family is super excited about the signing of Austin Corbett yesterday, and it just means I'm going to be $600 or so lighter in the pocket because I'm going to have to order jerseys for the entire family. So ready for that. Appreciate you having me, Tommy. Thank you, my friend.
And you know what's kind of cool with that? And you're welcome. And I appreciate you being here. I always find it like I would never put my name on a jersey. However, if a player was on that team, fuck yeah, I'm putting my name.
We're not buying that jerseys to make it look as if I'm on the team. It's a legitimate jersey.
Exactly. So that is pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool. Sandra, what up, Tommy? To the TOP, that's right. And no Mikey tonight. Obviously, you guys know Mikey's only on Monday night till preseason begins. So, Edward, how you doing? Appreciate you guys rocking with us tonight. So the title of the podcast tonight is a thin line between love and hate, with Bills Mafia in this team, and really just podcast Bills Mafia, like I guess you call podcasters as well. Just this fight, that Bills Mafia is having with one another about players being signed, and Beane should have stayed. Beane should have got fired. McDermott should have been the one to stay. Bo should have been fired. And it's a constant back and forth. And it seems like it's just gotten worse and worse through the years. And I know it's not a new thing, Dustin, but it seems like it's worse than ever before. And the reason why I say that is because you got a lot of what I don't like is you got a lot of people that are like, when they don't like your opinion, they call you dumb, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you're an idiot because you don't believe in my way. And I don't like that. Look, man, we all see things differently. We all have different takes. We all look at data and stats maybe a different way than others do. And for me, I don't know about you, but when I evaluate like a player or I evaluate anything, just life in general, but we're talking about a team, but evaluate a player, a coach, a GM, I try to look at everything. Why are we in this position? Why is he good? Why is he bad? Why is this player struggling? Why is this player playing great? Like, there's always more to it, right? And I feel like a lot of people focus on one thing, right? And they're dead set on this. And that's it, right? He sucks. What's your thoughts on, like, how do you look at it actually? How do you evaluate the team and players and everything in general? How do you evaluate the Buffalo Bills when you're doing your podcast or when you're on Twitter and all that stuff, or X?
So I think that for me, it's a kind of a point of, are you really looking at all angles? And it's very easy for a big time fan of a team, right, to go over the deep end on either side, whether it's saying that a coach or a player is the greatest thing that's ever happened in this organization after 1 week, or the opposite, the worst thing that's ever happened. Right. When you look at every outlying piece of information, which is how I try to do it. So I'm a stats guy, and there's people out there that are, advanced analytics only. But I take statistics. I also look at film. I try to merge the two together. My background is in the automotive industry. I run car dealerships. So I'm looking at financial statements that are 13 pages long. I can look at numbers all day long and dissect the hell out of them. But that doesn't mean that I can make a change in a process within a dealership that's going to affect the numbers that look poorly at any given moment in time. That's the same way with statistics. Stats are great. They paint a picture, but situational statistics are also different. So I try to look at, like you just said, the entire picture, good, bad, in between, ugly, what have you, and then try to make my own decision. The one thing that I really try not to do, Tommy, and it's very hard, especially in today's world, because there's so much media everywhere you look. I try not to get swayed before I do my own research, okay? Because if you go into an argument with already been pushed an agenda on one side or the other from someone else who you may trust or listen to or what have you, then you're naturally, the human body, the human brain is going to tell you that you're naturally going to side to that type of argument versus making your own decision. So that's what I try to make my own. And then I go from there. That's really how I do it. Right, Ron?
Yeah,
that's me,
And I love that. You're kind of, in a way, that's kind of how I do, right? Like, I'm kind of like you. Like, for me, first of all, I do the eyeball test. Like when I'm talking about a player, right? Evaluating a player in film. And first, obviously, I watch the game. And then that's another thing, too. I feel like, because we go live after the game, right? So we're one of the first channels to kind of do this, to be honest with you. Like, now other channels are kind of doing it, but we would go live instantly. I'm talking like minutes after the game ended. So when the game ends, your emotions after watching a game are generally high. You kind of forget some stuff, or maybe you haven't seen enough, like you haven't seen enough of the film breakout. So your instant reaction sometimes isn't always the right one, right? And you go, that's why we have another show the following day where we go, okay, let's watch the game again, the breakdown, and kind of go, okay, were we right about the poor blocking? Well, no, shit, maybe we were wrong, right? Like, yeah. So there's areas where, sometimes you're watching and the eyeball test doesn't always work either. But you do if you do the film work or the film study, and then you can kind of you can make a better judgment, right? But instant reaction's funny, and a lot of Bills Mafia get caught up in the instant reaction. Sometimes, like on X, it's toxic. Like I used to be on X a lot during games, and I just totally cut it, right? Like I can't deal with it because it's a lot. I would say more negativity than positivity. I even cut certain people off from my phone because it's like I need both. If you're going to give me the negative, which is fine because I spew it too, I need something good as well. Like I can't just be on one side of the coin, right? And I cut people out because I need to enjoy it, right? But yeah, so then I look at stats and data and all that stuff. That of course that comes into play, but it doesn't, like, once again, when you're just focusing on one part of it, it's you're not really doing it justice, right? For me, at least, you're not painting the whole picture, right? And I feel like a lot of times people get caught up in their opinion. They're stuck with their opinion. They don't want to leave that. no matter what. And that's fine. Everybody has their opinions. But I just don't like the side of it where people, Bills Mafia and some podcasts, they're getting into this squabble, these disagreements and these back and forth arguments on who's right and who's wrong. And it's crazy. And I don't know if the team's doing it to us, Justin, because there's no Super Bowls. And I kind of almost feel that way to this point, where I think Bills Mafia has just reached their limit, and everything is kind of just like enough already. We just want one, right?
Well, I agree.
But yeah, it's definitely, like I said, it's this love-hate relationship. So, for instance, we signed Damar Hamlin today, right? I'm not. Look, Damar Hamlin, he had 1 tackle last year, I think, right? Like,
yeah.
He's not. Look, did I want the Bills to sign him? No. But I'm also not angry. It's not hurting us. Like, I'm not. But you'll have fans on X. You'll have fans come on podcasts and just rip it and hate it and spew all the hate. Like, this is the worst thing ever. And it's the typical Bills re-signing these, like, guys. It's a cheapy deal. It's not going to break the team. Like, some of these moves,
probably not going to see the football field.
Right.
Let's be
exactly real. Right. So, he's a practice squad guy, more than likely, right? Like he was last year. But once again, it's just like we have this fight, this tug of war with Bills Mafia, where it's just like, I feel like some fans want it all. And then and then if they get it all, then they're unhappy because the cap's too high. Or if we make this unbelievable trade, then you got the fans going, we gave up all our draft capital. It's a no-win sometimes. And that's what I mean about this tug of war with fans. There's not really, you're never gonna, Beane's never going to please all of Bills. It's never gonna happen, right? Unless there's a Super Bowl won here.
Yeah, but don't you think, Tommy, don't you think, though, sir, that, and I mean this in all sincerity because I completely agree with what you're saying. Don't you think that if there was a Super Bowl won this year, that there's going to be those that say, oh, yeah, that's great, but what are we going to do the next 2-3 years? We're still screwed for the next 2. Like,
okay.
I think my point is there is no perfect human being. There is no perfect situation. And the last thing you said, I think, is the most important, in my opinion, which is, there's not a human being on this planet Earth that will appease and please everyone they encounter. It's just the bottom line. It's just never going to happen. And it's not just the Bills. Now, do we have as bad of a drought, of Super Bowl? Obviously, yes, as anybody ever in the history of football. But it's just there's not a soul that's going to please everybody. And that's just
absolutely. Yeah. And, and it's funny, too. I bring up, when people talk about, like, and we'll stick with Beane for now because it's still a hot topic, right? Brandon Beane has been a hot topic all season since the firing of McDermott. And I don't know if you've seen or know, but I am the president. I have made an island called Believe in Beane Island. And that name's starting to get thrown out there. I hear it on other podcasts. I'm like, yeah, I named that motherfucker. I came up with that. So I support Beane. I think Beane's done a good job here. Has he done great and unbelievable? No, because we haven't won a Super Bowl, right? However, what I hear a lot of Bills fans, or they go back on Beane, is a couple things. One, the WGR radio interview where he's you always bitch. First of all, and I try to tell this to people all the time. You never got caught up in a bad moment. You never said something that you wish you had. You could say back. You're perfect. Like, no, we all have our. We all say things sometimes. We all have those moments where we said something we regret or we acted the way we shouldn't have. Outside of that, when has Beane ever been this bad guy? He's gone on Pat McAfee. He has a good time on there. Right. He's not one of these like uptight guys. Like, that's the other thing. I don't get why people think this guy's super uptight. He's an asshole. He went on WGR, told those guys to fuck off. Like, he's been back on that show. Right. Like, it was a one-time thing. I'm sure he would. Yeah, and I'm sure he would like to have that back, but I feel like some people like criticize him for that, but it's like, guys, we all have been there. No one is perfect. We've all made a mistake in our lifetimes, all said something we regret. So I don't know why people keep like hanging that over his head. That's one thing. The other thing is just like, oh, McDermott had to go, so Beane had to go. No, no, that's not how it works all the time, right? I know it was a weird situation. How McDermott was here first and then Beane came second. And, you know, McDermott kind of brung Beane here. You know, let's be real. How I saw the relationship was very good for a while. But I do believe, and I still believe, and I know some people are now not believing it, is McDermott did control the show for a while. He had more say, in my opinion, especially on the 53, especially on the type of players that he wanted here, that he wanted drafted here, that fit his scheme. And people find it very hard to believe that that is true or that's false. And I tell people all the time around the NFL, what makes a good team, right, is when you have that connection, that link of ownership, GM, and head coach. If that link is broken, you're going to be the Cleveland Browns. You're going to be the Miami Dolphins. You're going to be the New Jersey Jets. You're going to be broken, right? You got to be in sync. And this say what you want, but those three guys were in sync for a long time, or else this team would not have been in the playoffs 8 out of 9 seasons, right? That's one. And a contender pretty much every year, right? And I know Josh is a big part of that, but it's still the NFL is the ultimate team sport. I don't care what anyone says. Right? Everything has to go right in order to win a Super Bowl, from special teams to coaching to GM to the quarterback to offensive line. Everything has to be perfect. Injuries, all that shit. People don't really get how hard it is to win a Super Bowl or to even get to one. Brandon Beane's done a very, very good job. When I look at his evaluation, I think he's criticized a little bit too hard on the drafts. I feel like he's had one bad draft, in my opinion. Outside of that, they all been pretty good. Free agency's been rough. I'm not going to lie there. But once again, I kind of feel like a lot of this stuff was getting towards what the coach wanted. Now, that's like that on every team, guys. So if Brandon Beane were to get fired, let's say hypothetically, and he were to go to the Chiefs, do you think he would draft the same type of players? Of course not. He would draft what Andy Reid wants him to have, right? Those type of players that fit his needs, his vision, his scheme, all that. So I try to tell people that all the time. But here's where I see Beane, and I'm going to ask you where you see this team going, you know, over the next couple years with Brady. I'm going to give him 2 more years for me, because I'm going on a Josh Allen window at this point. Josh Allen's window for me in his prime, let's be real, the way he plays, he's physical, 4 to 5 years. We got about 4 to 5 years of Josh Allen being in his prime. You can't fuck around like you did with McDermott. And we gave McDermott 9 years. And I feel like we probably should have cut him off a little while ago. Okay. Now with this new coach and Brady, I'm going to give him a 2-year window. Can't keep fucking around. You can't, if you're going to make this work while you have this guy here, you can't play this game where you're letting your coach run things and rinse and repeat for 9 straight pretty much 9 seasons. So what's your thought on Beane, and what's your thoughts on Joe Brady and this moving forward?
So I'm with you predominantly in the fact that I think that Brandon Beane is better than he gets credit for. He's done a better job than he gets credit for, especially with the draft. I will say that it is frustrating to myself as well. However, that come trade deadlines and offseason signings have not seemed to be the all in for right now that I would love to see more often, so to speak. I was not a huge fan of his remarks about we don't want to be the Los Angeles Rams and, spill our guts and then have a problem 3 years down the road. Well, that's a horrible comparison, sir, because look what they did. However, again, can someone say the perfect thing that's going to be perfect to every person on the face of the planet all day, every day? No, it's not going to happen. So as far as what he did on the radio, yeah, okay, that was kind of shitty. All right. Would he like to take that back? I'm sure, because of the backlash. However, it's a sentence. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't ruin anybody's, health. He's not putting anybody in physical harm. So I can get past that. I mean, look at the athletes these days. Look what they do. Look at what Tiger Woods just did today. I mean, that guy's putting people in harm's way every day. That I'd be upset with. A couple of somewhat sarcastic words I'm totally okay with. But you look at these draft prospects or these draftees that have been under his belt. I know maybe he's not the round one guru that some would love to see. I get it, but there's a lot of football players on this roster who have become at least first to second, very often third round playoff team for 8 straight years almost. So can we really be that upset? So I'll give it to Pegula a little bit during his presser when they announced that McDermott was out. What is the definition now of success to Bills Mafia and the Buffalo Bills? Because it's not what it was a decade ago. Okay, so success is no longer just get to the playoffs and things are good.
Right.
Now it's, you're into the playoffs every single year, and it's the same old. We're ending the same freaking way every single year. And to me, this is Dustin. I spoke about this today when we had our show. To me, it's the defense playing so damn let's bend and not break until the end of time that I can't stand it anymore. So is it a chance or a time to where we try to actually go win a game instead of trying not to lose a football game? I am thrilled with the things that have happened. I was shocked, to say the least, when McDermott was gone. Not because I didn't think that he should go, but because I didn't think that they would actually do it. I do commend him for everything that he's done for the organization and Bills Mafia in Western New York, quite frankly. He's a community guy. He's a culture guy. I love everything that he's done, no doubt. But we're beating a dead horse at this moment in time. And before the window does close, I'm with you, Tommy, something needs to change. So I'll give it to Pegula for finally stepping up and saying that. I thought his presser was quite horrible. I think that he should stay away from being behind the microphone. However, the decision on its face, I could stand behind. And the things that have happened since that day, I will be honest with you and say I'm thrilled thus far on an overall basis, the direction that the Buffalo Bills are headed, in my opinion. So I'm on Beane's Island with you. You can be the president. I am a citizen, no question. I am certainly there. I'm not quite ready to, launch his ass, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, he's not going to get 5 more years from me either. That was a long-winded answer, but I'm with you,
that's cool.
and that was my explanation.
Let's get to some super chats real quick. As you know, every super chat gets the train horn. So let's go ahead and hit that. Yes, sir. All right. First chat coming in, super chat coming in for Marino's Legacy. The Bills in the Allen era, if you count the game versus the Jets in 19, wrestling the starters have 7 straight years of 11 wins or more. Only 3 teams in NFL history have had that level of success since 1970. And I'm going to get into this too with that, and I agree with you, and I'll get into the whole winning compared to winning at all, and some fans, and that was kind of an argument I had for a little while too. But another super chat coming in here. Let me go ahead and hit that real quick. I had it up there, and here we go. Marino's Legacy again. I understand some criticism, but the negativity is absolutely wild. And then we got one more coming in from Marino's Legacy again. Man, dude, you're the man.
Yes, sir.
My dude. I appreciate you, man. The Rams wasted 2 years of prime. Stafford, the Bills also have a better record than the Rams since the comment. True. So here's my point on the whole winning and not winning at all and having a good McDermott. For me, he was a good coach. He brought us out of the drought. I'll give him that. I'm not going to sit here and say McDermott was a terrible coach. He was a good coach. He'll get hired again once he wants to be a coach again in the NFL. Someone's going to give him the opportunity because he's proven that he can have a winning team. However, winning is good, and I loved it when we got into the playoffs in 2017. right? That was unbelievable, right? Because I've been a fan since '89, and I've been on this roller coaster of emotions and heartbreak and just craziness, right? Heartbreak and being mad, and this is great stuff happening. More terrible than good, but the drought was bad. It was bad times here in Buffalo. Though a lot of my favorite players come from the drought years, believe it or not. My most favorite player, as everybody knows, Eric Molds, came from the drought years. And anyways, for me, when we got into playoffs 2017, it was like emotional, for me, because wow. And I was like, holy shit, we finally broke that drought, and cool. And then 2019 came. Obviously 2018, I let it pass because we knew that was a kind of a rebuild, right? Really 2017 was supposed to be too, but so it was not a big deal. I saw, and some people didn't, by the way, and this is funny too, Dustin. When we drafted Josh Allen, I wanted Josh Allen from the get. But there was a lot of people that were not on board with drafting Josh Allen. A lot of Bills Mafia. There was a lot of videos out there. Y'all know, you could search them up, right? Booing the pick, hating the pick, going online and talking about how terrible he is. This is what I'm talking about. Like, we do this still today. When we talk about some of these draft picks that we're getting, right? They're bust, terrible. They're going to be awful. Like, we don't know this, right? Like, we got to give it time, right? Josh Allen, really, truthfully, guys, didn't really get going until 2020. I mean, 2019, obviously, we made the playoffs, but he 2 years, he was a 58% completion percentage. I remember hearing national media say he'll never get above 60%. Like, this is who he is. He'll be the turnover machine. He'll be under 60 completion percentage. This is the Josh you're going to be. He's never going to be that mega star, like mega elite quarterback. He'll be your, a good average to good quarterback, but turnovers, you're never going to really, and all of that obviously has gone out the door, right? And obviously it's the amount of work Allen put in and coaching and all that stuff. But point being, once we started to go on this winning the division year after year, making it to playoffs year after year, getting to a divisional round or getting to a championship, it grows old. Like, it does, guys. Like, we got to face the facts on that, right? And that I 2020 was cool, and I said, you know what, 2021, baby, like we're right there. We're gonna be okay. And the 2021 happened. 13 seconds. 2022, right? 2023. And it comes to a point, guys, where it's like being good isn't good enough, right? Like, we've seen this before. We know we can win the division. We know we're a playoff team. But don't you want more? And that was my debate. That was my fight for years about, we got to let McDermott go because this is not the guy, right? He's not. It's the same thing over and over. It's the same defense letting us down over and over. We talk about Beane. You talk about how bad Beane is and all that. The letdowns weren't because of Beane's draft picks or Beane's bad free agent signings. The letdowns were because 13 seconds. The letdowns were because the defense couldn't hold a team under 40 goddamn points. Like, the defense, guys, right? The defense was a disaster. Let's be real, right? And I know you guys are going to go back and go, 5 turnovers last, against the Denver. Guys, we were still up by 4 with 3 minutes to go. You have a defensive-minded head coach. You expect a stop. Didn't get it, right? So for as bad, as poorly as our offense kind of played, our defense played even worse. They gave up 33. So once again, I go back to it as, if you hire a coach and he's a defensive-minded coach or he's an offensive-minded coach, I expect after at least 3 seasons for that team to have an excellent offense or an excellent defense, right? At least a top 5. I expect when we get in a moment where we need our defense to step up, our defensive-minded head coach will make it happen. And he never did. That was my biggest beef too with him. Never came a time where we're in a crucial moment and the defense actually, right? And that was the problem. And that's why he needed to go. And it was rinse and repeat. The scheme was broken. right? I think it worked for a little while, Dustin, while we had Poyer and Hyde back there, right? Poyer and, like many people don't realize, they were the glue. They really were the glue of the defense.
Yeah.
Once those guys started breaking, meaning breaking down, they never replaced them. They never had an answer. They never had a guy to step up and take over Poyer's role or Hyde's role. That defense started to break. And year after year, it got worse and worse and worse. Those players weren't on the field, right? Or they left, right? And that defense had its run, but it was short. And McDermott never could get it where he wanted it to be. And I feel like the stubbornness of what he wanted and he felt that it was going to work backfired. And it backfired at the worst times. Because I do believe this team would have at least been to a Super Bowl by now if it wasn't for the defense. At least, right? Minimum a Super Bowl appearance, in my opinion.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And even in the best couple of seasons like that, I think it was 21, 22 years where they gave up the least amount of points throughout the regular season when they had the really good defenses. Well, in those years, they still gave up 42 points to the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs in 21.
Right.
And they still gave up 27 and 31 points in the two games against the Dolphins and the Bengals in the playoffs in 22. My gripe was never necessarily the bend don't break in week 3 against the Saints. Okay. All right. Or the Panthers. Okay. Yeah, you should win those games anyways. But my issue is when it really counts. When it's an absolute must-game situation. Including this year, and yes, I understand we turned the ball over 5 times, and the turnover at the end of the half from Josh Allen is probably the worst turnover that you'll ever see from a quarterback ever. And I'm the first one to admit that was just as big as bone.
Are you talking about
that man going?
The one before the half?
70-yard touchdown. Yeah, the one right before the half where they chip shot field goal. I mean, that's the game. I mean, they all are the game, but my point is that was just stupidity. Anyway, there's still a chance to win. You're still up with 3-4 minutes left, like you said, Tommy. And there was still a 3rd and 8. On 2nd and 8, or it was either 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 10. The play prior, they sent some pressure, and they batted down a ball at the line of scrimmage because there was 6 men rushing.
Mm-hmm.
The very next play, it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, whatever it was, I forget.
Soft.
What do you know? Drop back into your, Tampa
soft
2,
zone.
whatever it was, soft, and just between the secondary or the 2 lines of defense, the linebacking crew, and then the safeties, they were probably playing a cover 3, maybe in a Tampa 2, whatever it was, I forget. There's this 20-yard gap, and Cortland Sutton just gets 14, 16 yards. Pitch and catch, backyard football, the easiest conversion that the Denver Broncos probably had on 3rd down all freaking year. That's my problem. So my excitement is not saying that I feel that the moves have been made. The Buffalo Bills will absolutely be winning a Super Bowl. I'm just ready to lose in the playoffs by being so gosh-forsaken aggressive that we're making the other team score a 60-yard bomb touchdown to beat us. I'm going to live with that versus live with the chip away.
Right.
I want someone to have to come out and beat us versus them just being able to eat our lunch all day long, slow, methodical, death by 1,000 cuts type deal. That's what I'm excited for. And I think that's the mentality that's being changed. And to your point that you made earlier, I just want to get this before I forget about it, Tommy.
Yeah.
When you said this earlier, it made me think immediately part of the, there's 2 sides to this, but part of the side, if you are on the side that Sean McDermott had more say than we all might have thought in terms of personnel and play calling on both sides of the ball and how the culture will be and everything else. CJ Gardner-Johnson, there is 0% chance that man would ever be on this football team if Sean McDermott ever had anything to do with it. Now, I'm not saying Gardner-Johnson is going to turn out to be, the catalyst to a Super Bowl. But what I am saying is that son of a gun has got a freaking edge about him. And I'm about done with all the soft, nice guy shit. And I'm ready for somebody to come in and be a little bit of a piece of crap. I don't want to say too many bad words and get a couple unsportsmanlike conduct penalties and be that mean, nasty son of a gun. I'm ready for a change. And I think that attitude has already presented itself with a couple of their signings, mainly him. And I'm just ready for it. I'm ready for the change. I'm ready for more aggression. And I actually think because McDermott, even though he's a defensive coach, I think because he's not here, my gut tells me that Joe Brady's actually going to open things up. And I mean that. I'm not saying throw for 5,000 yards necessarily, but I think the play calling is going to be a little bit less conservative also, along with the defense. We'll see, but that's what my gut tells me.
Dude, me and you are we think alike, put it that way.
Okay.
I'm with you 1,000%. So here's my thing on Joe Brady. So before I lose my train of thought, I wasn't crazy about the hire. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, now I like it. Like, there's still a question mark with him. Okay. There's some things I didn't care about him as an OC. I felt like he, it's funny because I normally do my homework on coaching, like especially head coach, offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. I normally kind of backtrack, see what they did in their past and all that, like before I go in and give, my thoughts on them. But I didn't do it for some reason with Joe Brady. I don't know why. But then last year, I'm like, man, everything I've been complaining about over the last 2 years for Joe Brady, I wonder if he had these issues in Carolina when he had the opportunity to be OC there. Now, mind you, not a great coach. I get it. And Matt Rule, who was a lot like McDermott, wanted the same type of offense that run for whatever. And even that, I don't care. Like, it's still, if you take that opportunity to be OC, you know what they want, then don't take the job. Like, if you're uncomfortable with it, if you feel like you can't run it, you're like, you have a different style of offense, then don't do it. Wait for another opportunity that opens up with a team that fits more of your personality. So you took that opportunity, Joe Brady, right? That's one.
Absolutely.
Two, everything that I read on the why he was let go was everything I've been complaining about over the last 2 seasons, which was wild to me because I never even read these articles up until last year, which is he's very, he can be conservative. He doesn't scheme his players up, his receivers up to win in their routes, right? Like he doesn't, he's predictable at times. Like everything I've been saying, right? Not understanding what he has in the room as far as talent, strengths, and weaknesses, and using them in the offense. Everything I've been saying, right? And it didn't change. Like for me to get better in whatever job you're doing, you got to understand like what you've been doing wrong, fix it up. And with Joe Brady, he's been here 2 years, 2.5. And I felt like nothing changed with the fact that he's still predictable at times. He still has a room full of receivers that he doesn't really know what to do with. Like, I felt like last year, for instance, we were talking about the receiver room. And I want to get to that too. People blame him, Beane, and I partially blame him a little bit for the receiver thing, but this is what they wanted. This is what McDermott and Brady wanted after they got rid of Diggs. They didn't want a superstar. They didn't want a number one and alpha. They wanted this everybody eats. It's going to work because we're going to be a run-first team. We're going to build our offensive line, which is fine, and they did. Thank God they did. But we're going to be, going to our tight ends more, running the ball more. Everybody kind of eats. We don't need that issue in our locker room again. So what was Beane going to do? Go just rogue and go get a alpha receiver in spite of what his head coach wants? Of course he's not. Like he's going to go with he's going with the plan, right?
Right.
He's going with the plan. So that's why I'm not killing him on that. However, I do wish he would have eventually maybe had the talk with him, be like, hey, it didn't really work out year one. I had to trade for Amari Cooper. Just saying, maybe we might want to rethink this going into next season. They didn't. They went outside Josh Palmer, which was a mistake. So I kind of partially blame him for that because it seems like he didn't really push it either. And that's why I think he went on the radio station and was like, hey, our offense was fine. And like, it wasn't really like, like that. And that's when we talk about stats and data. And you can look at the offense, go, hey, top 5 in scoring. Guys, who cares about that? I care about when the game's on the line. Who's Josh going to? It's 3rd and long. We need this play. Who's his go-to guy? Who is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no fucking idea. Neither does he. That's a problem.
No.
so
I'm thankful that we now know, but we haven't known for a while. And you're right.
Right. 2 years, right? Since Diggs left. Let's be real. So
exactly.
When McDermott goes, to your point, and then we hire Brady. So I'm back on Brady.
I was like, oh, right. Like yeah. And I think my biggest worry too was, is he going to bring back Babbage? Is he going to bring back familiar names that were already on the coach? Like all of this got to me right away. And I did this reaction, and look, I was wrong, because what they did and why I'm feeling much better today is they got a great coaching staff, in my opinion, surrounding the youngest head coach in the NFL to date right now. And they surrounded him with youth, like guys that are up and coming head coaches, and some veteran leadership in John Fox and Carmichael.
And
love it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the John Fox hire is one of my favorite hires of the coaching staff. Like the dude got two teams to a Super Bowls that were terrible. Now, did he win them? No, but they were awful. If you guys go back and look at the
different programs, right? It was Carolina and Denver, right?
Carolina and Denver. Denver first, and then he went to Carolina. They were terrible. Got them in a Super Bowl in like 2 years. So he turned them over quickly. It's just a great guy to have there to go, hey, maybe you want to do this. Maybe I love it. So I'm feeling more comfortable going into this season, knowing what he has surrounding him to go, hey, Brady, like Carmichael, for instance, hey, maybe we get let's do this with let's mix it up here. Maybe we don't. He's going to know a little bit more. He's going to see things a little bit more. Maybe Brady, and maybe that's why Brady got a Carmichael. So I love the hire. So I'm feeling better about the coaching staff as a whole. And like you said, the free agent signings already, by getting Gardner Johnson, would have never happened with McDermott. Never. So you're kind of seeing things go in a different direction. And I also love the hire of Leonard. We're switching up the defense. We're going to be more aggressive on defense. I feel like also there's players here like Gregory Rousseau, who's I'm thinking and I'm hoping that you're going to see a different Rousseau in this scheme, right? And more aggressive. They're going to have him line up a little bit differently on the front. I just like the direction they're heading in that room, right? So everything right now, I'm digging the offseason moves. I actually like the Chubb, and that's another thing, Dustin, that Bills Mafia is like a tug-of-war when it comes to some of these signings. So Bradley Chubb is one of them, right? Like they either hate it, or they love it, right? And I'm on board with, you know what? I see a guy where, he's had injuries, right? And there's no hiding that. However, when he's healthy, unlike Bosa, and that's why I didn't really care for the Bosa signing, he's productive. But Bosa is the problem I have with Bosa. His production wasn't there even when he was healthy over the last 3 or 4 years. It was declining. If you look at Chubb, he got to Miami, 11.5 sacks, 8.5 sacks. You know what I mean? Like
sandwiching that ACL. Yeah, I think it was 20 between the two. Yeah. Almost.
So for me, that's if he can stay healthy here, and of course, that's one thing Buffalo Bills have not had good luck in, knock on wood. He could be productive. So there's no, and I don't think it was an overly expensive contract either, right? I felt like that was a good contract. People are sleeping on the McGovern signing, which was a steal of a deal.
Huge.
The DJ Moore signing. Now, I'm not too great with the numbers. I know something came out where there was something in the contract where it actually made it even better. I think you talked about it. Did you talk about the Moore? Because they did something with the signing of Moore, the contract.
So he was $24.5 million a year for the next 4 years total. But what they were able to do is actually the cap hit for this year, they saved themselves 17 and change million for 2026. And then after next year, there's a fashion of an out. So it's not as bad as the guarantees were told to us as they were in the beginning. And people were up in arms about that. And I somewhat understand it and agree. But the manipulation of contracts, when you really want to give Brandon Beane a grade, if you want to, and I tell everybody that throws his ass under the bus real quick, he's extremely good at manipulating contracts, not in a I'm going to hide it from the player type of way, but understanding the rules and the intricacies. And he does as good a job as anybody in my mind of keeping players that are in a Buffalo Bills uniform to re-sign and or extend prior to them hitting the market. And usually he pays them less than the market most likely would have paid them. Okay, so I feel that no one gives him really enough credit in that regard. McGovern is the prime example. And then 3 days after they re-signed McGovern, Linderbaum signs for $27 million a year. Now, I'm not saying McGovern is Linderbaum, right. But I'm saying you got him for less than half the AAV of now what the market is. And the guy straight up told us, he's like, he came out and said, McGovern, would an extra couple $1 million a year for a few years change my family's life as much as it would interrupt our livelihood and the way that we enjoy living where we're living? No. So I'm like, what a stud. But Brandon Beane was able to take, I don't want to say take advantage of it, sounds bad, but he was able to make it happen in a timely fashion. Like there's real solace to that. Instead of paying the guy $17 million, you're paying him $13 million. That's a huge freaking win. I'm sorry. And that is Brandon Beane. Now that's Josh Allen, I'm sure, and Joe Brady and everybody else, plays their part as they should. But I think his moves are not that bad. And DJ Moore, I'm sorry. I was on the DJ Moore yes sir train from minute one. I don't think a second round draft pick is too much for the man. I really don't. People say that it is. I don't at all.
It's not. It's a late second round pick. First of all, okay.
Yes.
All these picks are late rounds, right? For a reason. We're usually a playoff divisional or AFC championship. So that's another thing.
People barely have a first rounder.
Yeah, people forget that. Like we're always at the tail end of these rounds. So, I'm not saying you can't get players, but people forget that too. But, look, as far as DJ Moore goes and that whole debate about Waddle, we could have got. Look. For me, I think DJ Moore is a better, well-rounded receiver than Waddle. I'm not knocking Waddle. I think Waddle's a good receiver. But when I look at Moore's career, and I have, because I wanted the Bills to try to trade for him a year ago, right? I wanted them because I remember DJ Moore's names getting brung up. When I look at his career, and this is another thing I keep trying to tell people, like, stop. It's not always about the stats and data and we're going, oh man, DJ Moore only 690 yards. Like, okay, right? Like, let's dive. Do you know what he's worked with? Do you understand his body of work since he's entered the NFL? Do you know that he's had 10 starting different quarterbacks? Do you know that? Do you know that he's had 7 offensive coordinators? Right? 7 offensive or 5 different head coach. No, I think 9 or 7 or 8 head coaches. Like, all that stuff, guys, it may not seem like a big deal. It is, right? And that's why, like, I defend Eric Moulds to this day. Like, and I know, like, some people, diehard old school Bills Mafia, will be like, oh, DeAndre Reed's the best Bills wide receiver all the time. He's not. Eric Moulds, for me, in my opinion, is the best all time because he was here 10 years with 8 or 9 different quarterbacks and 5 different head coaches and 4 different OCs. And y'all don't realize that every time you do that, the changeovers, you have a new scheme. You have a new quarterback that throws different, right? The chemistry may not be there. He may just suck ass, right? Which we all know and we are all aware the Buffalo Bills have had terrible quarterbacks after Kelly until we got Allen, right? And this guy still put up nearly 10,000 yards with that and different OCs and different head coaches that all have a different scheme, a different vision on how they want the offense ran. And that's why when I look at DJ Moore's body of work and I go, damn, this dude put up that kind of yards with that type with these quarterbacks that weren't good. Let's be real. Caleb Williams is finally getting to that point. Yeah, but once again, though, brand new head coach, different scheme, right? Everything changed, right? So, like, people don't look at that though. They just look at the numbers.
Not forget that their wide receivers are two filthy studs that are in their
Right,
first
yeah.
and second year of the NFL. Like, there's only so many targets to go around here. Okay,
Exactly.
nobody wants to talk about that either. But
right.
another point.
Scott,
You're right. I'm totally with you on
Blakely.
DJ Moore.
Yeah. Blakely, he's give Beane all the credit. I live on Beane Island. There we go. That's what I'm telling you guys. We're gonna make this thing a thing. It's already starting to float around. Believe in Beane Island. It's already making its ways around podcasts, and we're gonna keep that train going. But yeah, man. Like I said, let's see. This Scott. Oh yeah, that's right. Scott lives in Chicago. Actually, out here in Chicago, they were saying we got a great player, both on and off the field. Says Josh Allen will finally have a weapon of mass destruction. And you know what I got to say about this too with the DJ Moore thing? It's another love and hate, right? Tug of war back with Bills Mafia, right? I feel like what's going to have to happen is kind of like the Josh Allen of 2018 draft, where it's why do we draft? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I see why we drafted Josh. He's hurdling people, right? Like, oh, he's throwing a fucking missile here, right? Like DJ Moore is going to go out there. He's going to have to prove the doubter, like prove his doubters wrong, right? And he will. I do believe that. Now, will he have? Will it be a Stephon Diggs first year with Josh Allen 15? I don't know, right? Like that, I can't say for sure. But what I can tell you from looking at DJ Moore's body of work and his career so far, even last year, and I know this because I've heard from national media, watched Chicago media talk about DJ Moore. When they needed a play to be made, a crucial play, it was DJ Moore every single time. What did we have missing here in Buffalo for the last 2 years? That.
Not a single
right there, folks.
Yes, exactly right.
right there. So I don't care if the guy doesn't get 15. I would love it. And for me, I think DJ Moore's, if I'm going to be, guessing here, I would say a 1250, 1150, 1250 yards around there. And I would go, hey, great. But for me, it's about, is he stepping up in the biggest of moments? That's all I care about. That's it, right?
I don't care if it's 700 yards.
Right. If he does that, he does his job for me.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
60 first downs. Okay. I mean, I'm totally fine with that, even if it's 700 yards. I'm with you. I'm so with you. Do you know, can I just mention one thing to you before you move on to whatever you're going to next? I need to say this to you because I'm probably going to speak about this tomorrow. I think I'm going to go on tomorrow evening. We got Little League field cleanup day tomorrow for my young boys. So that's going to take us a while. Getting ready for baseball. Tyler Dunn. Are you familiar with Tyler Dunn?
I do. He wrote the article on Sean McDermott. I actually read it. Yeah. Yes. Interesting. Yes. It's out there, guys, by the way. It's free.
He seems to have the ear of some influential people within locker rooms and organizations and things. So I have no reason to believe that he's done anything or represented anything to be false. I listened to a quick video. He's actually on YouTube. I didn't even know this. It popped up. I listened to a video that he did with somebody he had on his channel to where he says that the Buffalo Bills locker room and organization, multiple people, just came out 3 days ago. And I don't know why it hasn't blown up because to me it's huge. He said multiple people inside the Bills organization say that Josh Allen was a burden to Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott felt that Josh Allen was a burden to the way that Sean McDermott wanted to play football. Is that not enormous to you? So if people are actually saying this, and again, he didn't say a name, he didn't, he was speaking to somebody on this podcast or whatever he does. But I stopped that and I replayed it about 6 times to make sure that I heard what I thought that I heard. That to me alone, if that is legitimate in the truth, tells us everything we need to know, in my opinion, because why everything does not go through JA-17. If you're the coach, if you're the OC, if you're the owner, the GM, everything must go through this, man. And if there's a bucking of the system to where everything has to go through your superstar, your world changer, then you're destined for failure, in my opinion. It's just not. Yeah. So if that's the case, man, does that tell me a story. That speaks volumes to me, and I just hope that things are just completely refreshed, changed, a new set of I don't know, desires for everybody. Just freshen up, man.
Yeah.
Start over and get out there and play some football. That's kind of where my mind is, and that's where my excitement is. But that's telling if it's true.
It is telling, and that's why I'm trying to tell Bills Mafia. It's like, guys, like this whole offseason with this bickering and this back and forth on Beane should be fired and all this, these, rehashing old things and whose fault is it? And, just sticking with the narrative that Beane, it doesn't matter who we sign. It's going to be terrible. Like, guys, for me, this is probably the most excited I've been. And I'll say since 2021. And the only reason I say 2021 is because coming off that 2020 season where it was like, holy shit, like, we were so close. Now I know we got blown out. I get that, but Josh is another year older. We're gonna add more talent, which we did, right? That's the 13-2 game. We got what's his name? The receiver, I forget his name, but brung him in. Like that was a great offense. Like that offense we were putting points up.
Right? Wasn't that Gabe?
Gabe, yeah, but it was the other guy, Emmanuel Sanders. So we had
Emmanuel Sanders
and Diggs, and dude, that team was loaded. Like we were, and that's why going into that season, I was like, oh, dude, like we're gonna do it. We're here, and we were there, right? What let us down, right? Like that's to me is where I was already going. You got to fire him. You have to fire him. Like that was it. The team was there. But anyways, this is the most excited I've been since 2021. Because not that a lot has changed as far as the team. Like we still got a lot of key guys here, right? It's not like we're in this rebuild mode where we're like, oh, we're just going to new stadium, but we're going to be a bad team, for a couple years because we're in this total new coaching staff and we got to find a quarterback and we're dropping players like the Dolphins to clear this. That's not what it's about. Yeah. But we're going into a new stadium with a fresh set of coaches. I mean, fresh, young, innovative, upcoming coaches that are probably potentially head coaches in the future. Sure. With some veteran guys that have been there, done that, and John Fox and Carmichael. And you got guys, these free agents coming on board, like CJ Gardner-Johnson and Bradley Chubb and DJ Moore, and you still got the draft come. This is exciting for me. This defense that I honestly gave up on for years, and I'm just like, fuck the defense. Just score points, baby, because I can't count on them. Now, maybe I can, right? There's a possibility we may count on the defense, right? Like, and that's why it's exciting to see this just different change in vision, direction, and like you said, maybe Brady does things a little differently because McDermott might have been telling him, hey, this is the type of offense I envision. And really, truthfully, and it's been known, you guys know, him and Dable did not get along.
Right.
He wanted an offense like what you've seen the last 3 years. Run heavy, slow, methodical drives, keep the defense as long as you can on the sideline. That doesn't work anymore. I'm sorry, right? It doesn't, because what happens when you stall out, right? And their defense is not good enough to hold. They give up points. And this last season, guys, was the most I've ever seen us either trail in half or have 3 points or 0 points twice, by the way, than I have in years past. Like never has the offense struggled to get going like I've seen last year out the gate. So, and I had blamed that on the scheme and what he wanted to do. And it's funny, you bring up the Denver game in the Allen, which was a boneheaded decision, but this is here's where I got on that play. Yes, Allen was at fault for sure. However, play should have never been ran. No. I'm big into game flow. Like, and that's the thing too. I'll argue with anybody on game flow. For me is everything. If you are playing a team and your offense is struggling to just things aren't going well, right? You can't throw deep, right? You're kind of just struggling to move the ball down the field. Why would you go be aggressive when they just scored on you? You have no timeouts, none. You're not 13. I think it was like 14, 13. You're not doing anything. You're on your own 30. Why risk it there? Like, I'm cool risking it if you got your offense is flowing. We're chucking the ball downfield, right? That's not what we did all season. Why are we doing that? Why do you think we're going to do it now? McDermott's done that multiple times. He did it against Houston 2 years ago when we were on our end zone. We lost that game. I don't know if y'all remember that. He tried to play for some reason, try to be aggressive there, right?
You mean regular season Houston?
Regular season Houston.
2 years ago?
In our end zone.
Yeah, and no time they went 3 and out.
Yeah, no timeout, 3 and out.
Pass plays with like 40 seconds left on the damn game clock. Yes, I remember that.
Absolutely. So we want to talk about like costly, stupid, like a guy that's been coaching that long should know better. You should know your team. You should know how the game is going at that point, right? The Denver game, once again, things were kind of starting to go Denver's way there. Just go into halftime. You got the ball coming out that. There's no reason at that point to be. And he does. Even in the Chiefs playoff game, he's aggressive on a punt because he thinks the Chiefs will score right away, right? Doesn't trust his defense at that point. Runs a Damar Hamlin fake punt run. The slowest guy in the field, probably.
You weren't fooling anybody, and even if you did, right, he's not going to run away from anyone anyway.
Right. Then later in the game, he's not aggressive, and he goes for a field goal, and we
right.
Like it's like dude, like you're giving you do know even if we make the field goal, they got plenty of time to go down the field. Right.
Exactly right.
Be aggressive here. Like you're aggressive there. You just were aggressive on the fake punt. Why now? Do you go, fuck it, now I won't be like that? Those things just drove me crazy about McDermott, right? And I'm praying to God, Brady is not McDermott 2.0. Because if he is, then we have a problem. And that's why I'm giving him a 2-year window. That's it. You cannot have those kind of blunders. And I'm hoping that veteran leadership that he has in Carmichael and Fox maybe prevents that from happening. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about McDermott was he didn't want those guys around. Frazier, see you later.
Correct.
Right? Like I don't want anybody empowering what I got to do here. This is my show. Right. I'm running it. Matter of fact, I'm going to take over defensive play calling when I fucking want. Who the fuck? It's like he took it over a guy that was a former head coach, a defensive coordinator, who, by the way, I think didn't he just win a Super Bowl with Seattle? Wasn't he on that staff? Leslie Frazier? Or was he on?
I think that he might have been. Yes, absolutely.
Best
defense in the league, by the way. Yeah.
Right. So, point being, he did it for Babbage, right? And we were all here all year, right? For the past 2 years, scratching our head going, does McDermott have the playbook in his does he have his glasses on? Is he calling the plays now?
Yeah,
no, it can't. He's not. He doesn't have
the only thing I'll give him, it did appear as if at halftime, many games, he started calling plays even this year. I know the Leslie Frazier thing, you got to trust him, but it did look like he started to call plays sometimes this year.
He did, but when? Like, it's funny because you'll want the credit when he doesn't want the, but when things go bad, it's Babbage. It's you didn't see my glasses on. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
I just double checked, and yes, Leslie was on the Seahawks. So weird.
Okay, here we go.
The worst thing that he could have done, the easiest thing he could have done, is at least get into the earpiece of Josh Allen when he fumbled that ball at the end of the first half and say, "Listen, bud, we're gonna run a play. If it's not there, like, fall over. Seriously, like, the last thing you can do is try to make some Superman play. You're not going to rush for 67 yards on one play and score a touchdown.
Right.
We need to go into halftime. There's only 11 seconds left, whatever it was.
Correct.
At least prep him when you're in, switch your little headset over to, being with, Joe Brady and Josh Allen. That's where thought he was to blame there.
Yeah.
Okay. See if there's a play in there. See if a defensive back falls down, trips over himself, and you got a deep shot. Okay. But seriously, if it's not egregiously wide open, just fall
Throw it
over.
away.
Take
Or
a
throw it
knee,
away.
throw it away.
Yeah.
Something. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I highly doubt that anyone told him that, and then he went out and did what he did anyways.
Yeah.
I would think against that. But
And I felt like Josh last year. And look, and I'm not going to not say I'm not going to not blame him because he doesn't need to be. He's responsible as well for his miscues. But I felt like last year that was the most I've seen Josh try to do too much. It's been a while since I seen him try to do too much. Right, running backwards multiple times, like he hasn't done that since like second year, right? Second year, like where he's
since he was like 21. Yeah, exactly.
Right, like where he's just doing things that he just kind of stopped or at least slowed down on doing. Right, like I kind of felt like he had this mentality last year where it's like, fuck him, I'm just gonna fuck what they're doing here. I'm just gonna make it. I'm gonna make it happen, right? And you can. That's why I'm trying to tell people, like, he can sometimes, but this is the ultimate team sport. You gotta have guys step up. You gotta, right? And that's the other thing too with what I felt like the plays last year, and that's my other criticism of Brady. I felt like most of the plays that were called in, a lot of them were broken down broken plays that Josh made really throughout the whole season that made that team go. Like it seemed to me like the scripted plays it was clunky, way too many bubble screens. But the plays that were like the bigger plays were all plays that were not scripted. They were just kind of broken plays where Josh bought time and made it happen. Like we never had that free flowing kind of Rams type offense or Bills offense when we had Dable, and that's why I'm hoping maybe you're right in where, and my co-host kind of feels the same way, where McDermott was maybe holding Brady back a tad on what he wanted to do with the offense. But I still do worry some because of the Carolina days. So we'll see here. He has a receiver now in DJ Moore. The only thing I'll say that maybe gives me some hope that it will change is when we did get Cooks, he did start going downfield more. 100%. So he did open it up a little bit, knowing that he had a guy that was capable. The only thing bad with Cooks is his hands weren't great. Yeah, right? Every catch seemed like it was a problem.
Exactly.
Right?
You're right. So, but they did take some shots.
But he
was open. And it would have been 30, 40 yards at a clip. I think it was even against Jacksonville on their last scoring drive, the Bills before the Cole Bishop interception. I believe that Brandon Cooks had a kind of maybe a post route that went for 35 or so yards that put him into field goal range right away, if I'm not mistaken. So there were some timely deep balls to Brandon Cooks as well later on in the season. So absolutely, you're 100% correct there. I'm actually a little surprised that they picked up Sherfield and not Brandon Cooks yet, if I'm being honest. I thought Cooks was a re-signed slam dunk with 1 year, $2.5 million, $3 million, something like that. But maybe it's draft because they do need that deep threat still.
They do.
I think DJ Moore has the ability, but he's not just a field stretcher because he's so good at intermediate and short stuff also.
Correct.
That he's not just going to stretch the field every play. I still feel that they need a little speed on the outside. That's why I thought
over the top kind of burner.
Correct.
Yeah. The thing is, I think they saw. I never really studied Cooks, but when I did after that game, I'm like, man, he's had an issue throughout his career dropping passes, and I think looking back at Cooks here when he was here, he dropped a lot, or he almost dropped a lot, or they were fun. I mean, since day, I remember I think it was the first time we threw to him. He fumbled the ball and it looked like a catch, but then they overruled it. It wasn't a catch. He was constantly. It was never like a clean catch with him for some reason. And
I'm pretty sure it was the opening drive his first 2 games,
right? Where he was
went deep to him and he was open and he didn't complete the and Josh Allen hit him in stride too.
Yeah, you can't the one thing we've had. we've had trouble with on this offense too has been drops, right? Like not good, right? So like I think they're, to be honest with you, I think that's probably why they're avoiding that, because you got to catch the ball. If you can get open, great, but you still got to come down with it. And I just don't feel like he's reliable enough for them to go ahead and pick him up. Sherfield is more of a special teams signing, guys. And I don't even know if he makes a team. So don't get too worked up on the Sherfield signing. I have a feeling they're going to get a receiver in the draft somewhere in this draft. So I wouldn't don't get too mad about the Sherfield or the Damar Hamlin signing. I would be more happy about the offensive line signings that we did.
The depth is fantastic.
Yeah,
now.
The depth is great. Absolutely. So once again, where do you win in football? In the trenches, right? I feel like we've done a really good job so far on the offensive side of the ball, offensive line. Love Osiris Torrance. I still think he hasn't reached the ceiling yet. Spencer Brown's a dog. Deion Dawkins is getting older, but I still feel like he's a good tackle. He just needs to put the work in a little bit now, a little bit more now that he's getting older. He even said himself he needs a little bit to lose weight, but I still don't think he was bad or anything. Yeah. Got our center back, who's one of the better centers in the league. I know we lost Edwards, but Alec Anderson, if he winds up getting that job, he filled in fine at times, guys. I never really had a problem with him. So I think for now, until you maybe get one in the draft, if he's not here this draft, maybe next, he's fine for a filler. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to break the offensive line at all. You know what I mean? So now the defensive line, we'll see what they do if they get a nose tackle in the draft, or it doesn't seem like they're going to get one in free agency. Kind of seems like they're done with these signings. I could be wrong, guys, but it seems like these last few signings have been just, at the very end of the aisle, right? At the very last box. But I could be wrong.
I thought DJ Reader should have been signed personally.
I do too. But once again, it seems like they're not. Maybe they're going to go in the direction of the draft. I don't know. There is Wilkins out there. Now he is rehabbing his foot still. However, I know a lot of you guys hate him. And once again, Bills Mafia is on this whole tug-of-war thing with him as well, more towards the hate Wilkins side. Yeah. However, I'm into the winning side, and I don't give a fuck if he's who he is. And I don't think it's going to break a team's like, trust me, they'll set him straight if anything. However, when that dude's on the field and he's healthy, he's productive and he's a monster. And that dude absolutely would help this team without a shadow of a doubt. So I want to win a Super Bowl. I don't give a fuck about all that other stuff. You know who did? McDermott did. And where did that get us? It didn't get us no Super Bowl. So I for sure, if Wilkins wanted to come here on a one year deal, who else was like that? Richie Incognito. Love Richie Incognito. 100%. Right? And there, of 100%. Course, there's people like, oh, guy's a loose cannon. He's not gonna. Dude, nobody had. Richie came. Richie did put his work in. All field shit, whatever. And nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me.
Yeah. As long as it's not overtaking everything, like
exactly,
I don't know
like shadowing
stuff, like
I'm with you on that.
Girlfriend or whatever,
but that didn't happen here. But that never happened while he was here. That stuff happened later.
No, I know.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying. Like, I'm with you on that. You don't want like an Antonio Brown situation. It's way out of control.
Brandon,
right? I get that. I'm not saying that, right? Like, but even I'll say this. So I'll say this: there are still teams that took that's still Tampa Bay said, "Fuck it, we'll take that too," and they won a Super Bowl with them, right? So
come on over, baby. Yep.
I'll deal with your bullshit for a year or two, and then. Right. And then you're gone. You're gone. Whatever.
Yeah, you're right, and that's what it is.
You know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day,
never deal with them again. Okay, fine.
Right. And that's why I try to tell Bills Mafia, look, man, these guys aren't your friends. We don't know these. Like, we're not hanging out with these guys. I'm not taking anything personal. Like, trust me, guys, I can sleep fine at night, and I can sleep even better if we win a Super Bowl. Like, I'm with it. With this guy. Like, and who cares if he's gone the next year? I don't give a shit. I could
I'm
care
so with you.
less. You know what I mean? So that's why I want Bills Mafia to understand. There's a goal in mind, right? And like just like all 32 teams going into every season, right? But there's only one winner, right? And like it's funny, like when we sit here and we criticize or we approve what they're doing. There's 31 other teams and fan bases doing the same fucking thing. And there's only one team. That's it. So for as great it's funny when I hear other podcasts are like, oh, look what so-and-so's doing. Look at the draft they had. Look at the free agents. Look at the trade. I've heard that, guys, every year. And pretty much every team either doesn't make the playoffs, get bounced out early in the playoffs. Like let's be real here, guys, right? Like the Chiefs and Eagles kind of, except for finally Seattle kind of broke that mold, as finally a different winner. They've been running the show. Like outside of that, I don't give a fuck what you do on paper. Like you got it when that fucking when September hits and you got 17 games, you got a lot has to go right, folks. You got to stay healthy. You got to click. Your coaching staff has to click, right? Chemistry, hope for no injuries. Like there's so much that goes into it. And that's one thing I'll say about the Bills, even with, not the greatest draft or, that people think, or not we didn't get this guy or we have injury. We're still one of the teams that we're right there. We're right there. So, and I'm not saying that's good enough. We should just be happy with that. But I'm just saying when other people praise about other teams and how great they're what are they really doing? What have they done? Baltimore had 9 Pro Bowlers? They didn't even make the playoffs.
Right.
So what are we talking about
Big
here?
Deal. Right. What does it matter?
Right. What does it matter? It looks great on paper, but what does it look like on the field for 17 weeks? We know what our team is capable of doing. We know we have, and I always say top 3 quarterback because I don't want that whole debate, right? So I'm just going to say elite tier 1 level quarterback on our roster, right? We know what this team's capable of doing, right? It's just about putting it together, and it's about everything going right at the same time, guys. You know what I mean? And of course we want the best players. Of course we want the Crosbys of the world, and we want the Justin Jefferson, but it takes 2 to tango for one. You don't know, and I always tell people this too. You don't know that Brandon Beane didn't call and try to make a deal. And apparently he did. It didn't work out, right? And now, I hate to say it, but with the Crosby thing, Dallas doctor agreed with the Baltimore doctor on his knee. And I think that scared every team away. And what's going to have to happen is Crosby is going to have to go into this season. He's going to play for the Raiders, more than likely. And they're going to have to prove that his knee is fine. And they're probably putting him right back on that trade block again. Right. But teams right now are backing away. So don't say just like, oh, the Bills. Guys, there's 31 teams. That said, no, I'm good. I'm good. Right. Come on, man. Right. So that's where I'm at with that, man. Let's get to some of the chat here real quick because I feel bad. What are we going to be after Allen? That's a great question. And that's one that we'll talk about when we get there. Because one thing I've learned being a Bills fan is when you lose that type of player, quarterback, it could take some time. It takes some time to replace that guy. So I don't want to think about it. I'll be honest with you, man. We got a little while to go before that.
I wouldn't start planning just yet either.
It's a little too early on that stage to kind of go, what are we going to be? It could be bad. I have no idea. You know what I mean? But for now, we're in a great position because we have that man, right? And, that's the other thing, too. I feel like if I'm going to criticize Beane a little bit, too, on this is you have a guy like this in your team. You got to build around him, right? And I felt like they went away from that, right? They kind of lost track of that, about building around your franchise quarterback, your guy that's putting the whole team on his back, and you shifted away. I felt like they did that after the Diggs trade. I felt like they said, that's good enough. You got it now. We know you can carry the team on your back. Let's worry about the defense again. And that's why I kind of blame McDermott too, because it was our defense. Our drafts have been defensive heavy. All right. Our free agent signings, our splash ones, defense. Right? Von Miller, defense. Like, we weren't really trying to build around anymore about our quarterback. That's why I keep telling you guys, so when Diggs left, I kind of felt like they still felt like he's good enough to carry the team. That everybody each should be fine because he's Josh Allen. And that's simply not the case, guys. Everybody eats, what everybody eats? The fucking Rams are everybody eats. They got weapons. Right?
Player is phenomenal.
Right. That's everybody. Right? Okay. Don't feed. For me, it was a marketing campaign, Dustin. I felt like, it was pushed
and it worked.
Well, did it?
And posters and this. I'm saying the marketing of it. Everybody bought in, is what I'm saying.
Right. Everybody bought exactly.
And they would post on X. 12 players with a reception this week. Okay. Even at one point, I was like, fuck yeah. We don't need
top
to
five
number
score.
one, Yeah, I mean, okay, great. Josh Allen only threw 6 interceptions. This is the best thing we'll ever see. I'm with it. But let me show you. Oh, go ahead. You get that comment first. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes with McDermott not here. The change will be good, I believe. And I do too. I mean, obviously, I'm not I can't predict the future, but I feel comfortable. I do with this new coaching staff. And I just McDermott's time. It needed to end a while ago. But anyways, go ahead.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, I'm with you, and we're past it, right? So we have to. I think somebody in here said, "Stay positive, go Bill." I'm with it. Just be
absolutely.
Positive. We got to have these guys back. What are we just going to do? Hate watching the Bills every weekend? I refuse to do that, or I'm not a fan. Why would I be pissed off about every single thing? Anyway, I just wanted to make all of your listeners and yourself aware of this. Tommy, you might know, but I don't know if everybody will.
Sure.
Speaking of Josh Allen, having people around him, like it's Stefan Diggs or not, and the cast that he's had in the last few years. I was talking about this with my listeners earlier today or yesterday. I can't remember. Josh Allen was 31st out of 33 qualified quarterbacks last year when it comes to the percentage of his balls thrown that were in a tight window or to a tight window. What does a tight window mean? 1 yard or less of separation. So literally there were only 2 quarterbacks in the entire NFL, one more than the amount of teams, that threw the ball into a tight window less than he did. To me, that says one of two things. You can couple it to what you said just earlier, which was, it seemed to me as if Josh Allen was running backwards a hell of a lot more often than normal. He was trying to extend plays, trying to figure out a way to make something happen because he didn't think it was there in front of him. I totally agree. And it's factual. If you watch a game, you can see that. Almost every game, he does that once or twice. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. However, when I couple what you said about that, Tommy, and when I look at these numbers, I say to myself, okay, to me, it's a guy that's 1 yard open or less, as far as NFL is concerned, is still freaking open to every other quarterback in the world. Because if you look at Matthew Stafford, the guy's on the top of the list, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford. Who does Dak Prescott have? Well, he's got CeeDee Lamb. He leads the league in throwing into tight targets, by the way. He was number 1 at 20% of his throws were into 1 yard of separation or less. And Josh Allen, again, almost last at 11.5%. So almost double the amount of throws, but he's got CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Then you got Matthew Stafford, who is second. He's got Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and the tight end out there. I forget his name off the top of my head. He's got a legit wide receiver core. Yeah. And then you got Drake May. He's got one of the best deep ball guys in Kayshon Boutte. And who'd he have? Well, he had Stefan Diggs. Like him or hate him, Stefan Diggs has some really strong freaking hands, and he showed that last year. He still does.
Absolutely.
And he can catch the ball in traffic, okay? So he might not be the take the roof off the guy or the field anymore, but he can catch a ball with a defender draped all over him. So this is my only point. I think if you really look at the numbers and then you look at the film, like we were talking about when we first started, you do a little bit of both. It really goes to show that I don't know that Josh Allen, he will never say this publicly. I do not think that Josh Allen truthfully trusts a single receiver out there other than Khalil Shakir, maybe. But again, his average depth of target is like 1 yard. So other than that, I don't know that he trusts anybody to throw him the ball when it appears that they might be covered or even slightly covered. Maybe Dalton Kincaid, who missed 6 games or something.
Yeah.
So I think it paints the picture. And if DJ Moore is that guy, like you say, Tommy, on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, the whole damn world knows where the ball's going, and including the defense. And we're still going to throw there because he's going to get a separation. Josh Allen's going to trust him. He's going to fire a Pitts missile in there. We're going to convert the 3rd down. And then Dustin and Cold Front and Tommy are going to be happy fucking people. Okay?
Yeah.
That's
absolutely. Cato Cohen is so is more enough. And I do believe it is. And now, of course, you can all listen. I'm never going to hate them continuing to add, right? Of course, like never's enough. Continue to add talent. Like, no, like, technically no, right? Like technically give him more. The more weapons, the better, obviously, right? But you can only pay so many, right? You have a roster to fill, right? Like you can't have 10 receivers, right? You know what I mean? Like you can't have the best. It's just not how. It's not real. It's not Madden, right? Like so. And here's why I think it will be enough. One, he's a true one, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says. He is a true one. He may not be elite. He may not be an alpha. However, he is proven to be a 1,000-yard receiver with not the best of quarterbacks. I mentioned it before. 10 starting quarterbacks. He has a good amount of he has a good track record of putting up yards and being that guy when needed, right? When his name is called, he's been super reliable. Okay. What does a guy like that bring to a team? Well, go back 2 years ago. We traded for Amari Cooper when things weren't going great with this offense. Could not move the ball downfield. Couldn't find weapons. Keon couldn't get it open. That was his rookie year, right? What did Amari Cooper bring, guys? And it's another thing I have a debate with Bills Mafia all the time about. My co-host finally got it. Like he was debating with me forever because he looked at the stats, right? And he only got this many targets and completions and yards. And it's not, guys, I get that. But what did he bring? He brung respect. Defensive coordinators go, okay, damn, that's a one, right? He may be out of his prime or at the tail end, but we can't fuck around with this guy. We have to respect this guy. So what happens? Right? He gets double. They pay attention a little bit more to him. What does that do? That opens it up for Keon Coleman. Is it surprising that Keon Coleman had his biggest game of the year that year? The very same game that Amari Cooper played? It's not a surprise to me. It's because the focus is on the one that demands the respect. And if you really go back and look at that year with Amari Cooper, Allen was taking shots deep right away with Cooper. Right away. And Cooper was making fantastic catches up until he hurt his wrist. He made unbelievable catches.
Yep.
Yeah, that touchdown that he like where he landed on his back.
Yep.
Guys, like, and I would say it. Name another receiver recently that's made some of those fantastic catches. We haven't had them. So that's what DJ Moore brings. He brings the respect of defensive coordinators and defenses to go, we can't fuck around here. Like they got a one. And this guy can take it to the house. This guy can tear you up. This guy can have a 100-yard game here, maybe possibly 150 too. Like we have to respect this guy, right? This is right. So that opens it up for everybody else. When you don't have that, and look, I like Khalil Shakir, and I feel like Khalil Shakir, and that's another thing I don't like about Brady. Khalil Shakir in Boise State was not just a slot. He can run over the top. He's a 4-3 guy. He's a fast. He can run. He could be a deep receiver. He could be a slot. You could put him anywhere on the field, right? He's not a one-trick pony. Like, stop using him to just do bubble screens.
I think DJ Moore can allow him to also be more versatile, though, because DJ Moore also lines up everywhere.
Right. So and then maybe he will open up.
That's tough to cover, like you're saying. Where do you go from there? Because they could both be in slot at any given moment. After motion, they can end up doing anything. I'm with you there, Tommy, too.
Yeah, and I think Khalil Shakir is one of those draft picks too that people don't talk about. He's a good draft pick. Like, and that's another thing. When we look at absolutely, when we look at this team too, and I talk about our team, and you really truly look at it, and a lot of Bills Mafia stuck on the bad drafts. Oh, terrible. Beane can't draft. If you look at our roster, the majority of the starters are draft picks. The majority been here a while, right? I'm telling you guys, look at the roster. I'm talking about Josh Allen, Deion Dawkins, Osiris Torrance, Spencer Brown, all draft picks. Gregory Rousseau, Ed Oliver, Christian Benford, Cole Bishop. People sleeping on Cole Bishop. Hello, right? Yeah, right? Can we get some love for Beane on Cole Bishop? No, nobody. And that's the other thing too, right? They want to point the bad out. It's very easy to do that, guys. But what about the good? What about the players what about the Cole Bishops of the world who has not even hit his ceiling yet?
No.
But no, we don't want to talk about those guys. We want to talk about Kyer Elam. We want to talk about Boogie Basham. Guys, every fucking team has these drafts where they have guys that don't work out. It's not like an uncommon thing. It's very common. It happens every year. Matter of fact, if you go through mock drafts and Mel Kiper and all these other guys that hype up certain guys and, oh man, this guy's going to be, I compare him to some of these guys that are not even in the league anymore. Right? Like, it happens. It's the NFL. Right. Like, not everything's going to hit. Not everything. Remember Sky Moore? Everyone remember Sky Moore? Guy fucking got cut already. Like, once again, guys, it's like, GMs, they're not perfect. They're not batting 1,000. I don't know if any drafts, but I was like, holy shit, this guy year after year is just every single pick. Like, it's not a reality, guys. What I see is the majority of our players that we have here are starters. If you look at the free agent signings, that's where I feel like it's not going great, because none of the players on our team's been is a free agent that's lasted a long time, right? Like, that's where we need to get it right. We can't keep paying, and we're paying a lot on some of these guys, right? Like, for me, you signed Joey Bosa for 12, which I wasn't a fan. I'm not saying he wasn't bad. He was bad, but let's be real here. Did he really give us the 12? Like, not really. How do you do in the playoffs? Like, that's really what we got him for. He was meh. I mean, he didn't come up big in the play. Like, right? So, like, what did he really do for us, right? You lost 12.
First half, and then
first half was okay, and he slowed down, but that's right. Yeah. And that's what he was doing production-wise, and that's why I say, like, and that's where I kind of go on to Beane and go, hey, man, like, let's stop with these 1 year, 12 million, 1 year, 15, 2 get a guy that's productive. Like, I feel like Bradley Chubb, if he can stay healthy, he's still in that lane of production. He can give us so no one's going to trust me, guys. If Chubb can stay healthy, no one's going to complain about that signing, because I do believe he'll be productive. That's my feeling. We'll see, but I feel he'll be productive. You know what I mean? So I just feel like his free agent signings have been, these guys just haven't been here. They haven't worked out. They haven't stayed here long term. Curtis Samuel, it's probably looking like Josh Palmer is going to be another one. It's probably just not going to work out, right? Or 1 year guys that here and gone. There's a waste of 10 million, 12 million. You know what I mean? Like, I would love for one of these guys just to actually work out, stay here a while, right? Give us some production over the course of 3 years, at least 2-3 years, right? We just haven't had that, right? And that's why I go back to the drafts, that they're not as bad as you guys think, right? If they were that bad, I promise you guys, we would have missed playoffs in this stretch, in this run.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah. When it comes to dealing with some of these teammates, especially wide receivers 1, I would like to see Josh stop being a golden retriever and start being a pit bull. Manning, Brady, Rodgers. If you garbage you out. Yeah. So what I listen, and I'll ask you too, Dustin, on this. With Allen, I would absolutely love for him to take that role on of a Manning or a Brady, where he's in command of how they were, right? Holding players responsible, being on the sideline, kind of motivating and getting in their face at times when things aren't going right, getting these off. I just have a feeling it's just not in his character. Like he's been here, 8 years, right? Like, and I almost go back to, and maybe it's because, and I could be wrong. I don't know. I'll ask you about it, but I feel like one of him is he had to like fight for everything, right? Like beg to be on a team and right since high school and write letters to even find a college team. And it's almost like he just doesn't want to speak up or like, you know what I mean? Because he's just happy to be on a team, like, and I could be wrong in that. Like, I'm sure he knows he's the man here, but you've never seen him act like a Manning or a Brady where they know they're the fucking man. They're going to tell you they're the fucking man, right? They're going to publicly say, I don't fucking like that. I just don't see it, guys. It's just not in his DNA. So I would love it. I would, but I don't know if you'll ever see that from him. You know what I mean? Like it's funny. Like when we fired McDermott, people are like, oh, Allen's gonna, he's gonna be upset, and that was his friend. And I'm like, no, he you remember when they fired Dorsey and he came on the press conference and he felt, and then Brady was his best buddy a couple days later. Like, yeah. Just like McDermott moving on. Who was at the press conference? Fucking Josh Allen. Right?
In
moved on.
crutches. Yeah.
Right. Moved on pretty quickly. Right. But he wasn't going to throw him under the bus at any point. Right. He wasn't going to throw a teammate under the bus. That's not what he does. So for as much as I would love for him to kind of, take that command and be that sideline, like getting in your face kind of quarterback, like you would have already seen it by now. I just don't think it's going to happen. The only thing I think that he could do differently, Dustin, is maybe what I would like to see more is him like audibling more or changing plays a little bit more often when he doesn't like a fucking bubble screen on a third. You know what I mean? Like start to listen, at the end of the day, it's your offense. Like your coach is not going to bench you. You know what I mean? Like this is your team. Let's be real. Like you have held this team together, right? You've carried this team. There's times I feel like he's just going with the play, right? With the plays called. And I feel like, the one thing I loved about Jim Kelly's offense and the K-gun and all that was Kelly earned that respect and Marv Levy let him run that show pretty much. You know what I mean? He ran that offense. That's why that offense was efficient and teammates, rallied behind him. Like nobody was going to tell him not to run up. Like he took that on and I would like for Allen to do that more too. For me too, I feel like Allen is better with a more up-tempo offense. What do you feel about the offense being up-tempo? I feel like it goes smoothly with Allen at a more up-tempo. I kind of feel like he's more comfortable in that zone where he's kind of just going to the line, getting to the line quickly. I just feel like our offense has flowed better in that sense. But what do you feel about that? Well, how do you want to see the offense?
This past year, the second half, especially when you're losing going into the second half, you almost have to play a little bit more on up tempo if you're running out of time, and you play a little bit more desperation mode, which things certainly clicked. So to the eye, they definitely flowed better. They definitely moved the chains and kept the defense on its heels versus coming down and attacking. I think the defenses actually caught up to the scheme of dink and dunk.
They did
over the last
the
year.
Better ones,
Joe Brady,
right?
Yeah,
like the Houstons and especially the like. And for me, like when you're like, and that's the thing we're too about, but the Brady and McDermott, and I'm hoping Brady doesn't carry over is when you face a defense, like a really good Texan defense, you can't be repetitive. You can't be predictable where you're like, hey, we're going to show you the same fucking plays in the second half. We're not going to do, this is what we're going to do. Right.
Yeah.
For me, how do you beat the Texans?
How did that
look
happen?
At the Colts. Yeah. Look at the Colts later in the season, right? With a fucking Phillip Rivers. What did they do? Right. They went off. They said, fuck it. We're just going to do off script shit. We're going to throw that's how you kind of, you got to switch it up. You got to go up. You can't always play the same a style of offense or defense. And I feel like that's another thing that's gone wrong here is we've been predictable on both sides of the ball at times, and it's cost us, right? Like,
no doubt.
But I'm hoping that changes.
Easier to pick apart a defense if they're predictable and being soft than to pick apart a defense if they're being predictable, being aggressive, and they have the athletes in order to be able to be aggressive.
Yeah.
I still think at that point it's okay. We know that they're going to be flying at us. We know that when they're flying at us, they're going to be pressing the guys on the outside. If they have the athletes in order to maintain that man coverage on the outside and a couple of linebackers to, take our slot or our tight end guys, well, then we're just going to have to throw the ball up there and hope we make a play because we're not going to be able to cover all the rush that's coming in towards the quarterback. So it's easier to pick apart a predictable soft defense. Now, as far as the offense goes, Joe Brady, since I can remember this off the top of my head, I don't have any numbers behind this, which is shame on me. Usually I do. But his first scripted drive of the game seemed to always be relatively productive and promising.
Yes. Which is most coaches.
That.
Right.
Yeah, most coaches. Right.
First half, second half.
Week on 12 plays or something. You run 60 plays. So what did we just forget about, 13 through 60? Like that kind of frustrated me that as soon as that first drive was over, it was like, oh shit, we're going to run the ball on first down.
Right.
If we get 5 or 6 yards, we're going to run it again. If we don't, and it's 2nd and 7, we'll maybe throw a bubble screen. And then if it's 3rd and long, then we're going to throw Ty Johnson on some wheel route pattern and hope that he, yard after catch. Like that to me was very frustrating. And I'll give you that. How much that was Joe Brady versus how much that was Sean McDermott, I don't know. But what I heard you tell me and everyone earlier, that when you did the research about what happened in his tenure in Carolina, and a lot of it said the same shit. Well, oh boy, I don't know if I'm thrilled by hearing that or not, but it's reality.
Yeah,
so I'm glad that
I'll send you the links to the articles. There's a few.
Yeah.
And because I was like, you can't just go by one, right? You gotta have different take, different people are going to see things differently. That's why I always try to at least see who else wrote about it. Yeah. I think there was actually 3 articles, one by SI, one by somebody else, and one by a local, and they all said the same thing. Every single one said the same thing about what I've been saying. Especially the part that got me too was the scheming things up for the receivers. Yeah. He did a terrible job. It's actually scheming them to get open. He would just send them out there. Like it seemed like that's kind of what we were doing here. Like the routes seemed lazy to me at times last year.
Crossing routes, like
and if you go back even the day, like when the announcers are like, man, they're going to run it here. They're first down, they're going to run it. They're going to run it. Like, why don't they do a play action here? Like the team's selling out against the run. They know what you're doing, and yet we just kept going back to the same. And it's like Brady, like everybody sees it. Why the fuck aren't you? Now, was that McDermott going, no, man, I want this fucking, we're going to run the fucking ball first down. I don't give a, I don't know. Right. Like we do know there's communication between coach and coordinator in the game, but it drove me bonkers, man. Like, and I hope that's not a continuing thing.
Right.
Going into the season, because you can't do that. You cannot continue to be predictable with your offense. You have to throw different looks. And then also too, knowing what you have in the room. That was one of my biggest pet peeves as well. Going, okay, here's what I got, right? What's this guy's strengths? What's his weakness? What can he do best on this offense? Where can I line him up to be the most productive receiver that he could be? look, I've seen Elijah Moore. I'm not saying Elijah Moore is this great receiver, but I've seen him do good things in the NFL. I've seen Curtis Samuel do good things in the NFL, right? Yet we're just giving them basic routes. Like, we're not doing anything with this speed. Why not? Like, why aren't we doing anything? And so it was just annoying, and I don't know. It was frustrating. And I don't know if that was a McDermott thing, Brady thing, or a combination, but he has to get better with that. Scott Blakely, Bishop, Josh Allen, Benford, Shakir. Yeah, dude. And listen, it goes on. And I keep telling people, like, it's not as bad as you guys, or a lot of people say. Our drafts have not been bad. You're right. That Leonard deal too. Yeah, and Leonard deal was actually a steal. It was 1 year, $2 million. However, when you fuck around with the 1 years, then they do good. They're gone. They're gone. And it's what he got paid. You know, he's like, yeah. So like, but yeah, that was one of the few that actually worked out. I don't even know if he thought that would, because it was such a cheap deal at the time. I don't know if many people thought Leonard Floyd would actually give us, I think he had 11 sacks that year, 10 and a half, 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Benjamin Crowd. Yeah. Hey, Keys in the building, man. What's up, Keys? How you doing, brother? Happened way too often. Let's see. We're getting some of them. I'm getting a little behind here. Brady play calling in the playoffs was brilliant. I don't know about brilliant. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I don't know about brilliant. I wouldn't call anything that he's done here brilliant. I think he's been if I had to grade his time being here, I would say B-. Like, and I'm being nice, to be honest with you guys. He has the best quarterback in the league, in my opinion. Like,
right, and you score 28 to 30 points a game per year, regardless. So maybe we're nitpicking a little bit, but there should be room for improvement too.
Yes,
right. I mean,
yes,
there has to be, you know.
Correct. Keys coming in. There you go. No one separates. I wonder why. And now he's our coach. See, so Keys is with me a little bit on this. He's not a big Brady supporter, and I try. And Keys knows I slightly agree with him. However, like I said earlier, and I know you're kind of with me on this. It's the coaching staff surrounding Brady that I think that's going to make this thing work. I believe. Could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I believe the coaching staff has such an upside to it, right? Young, innovative guys that are upcoming. And then you got, like I said earlier, the leadership in the Fox and the Carmichael that I believe can make this thing work with the Brady. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, time will tell.
Brady does not strike me as an egomaniac to where he will not listen to any of these guys if they try to tell him, would you cut it the fuck out, bud? You know, right. with your bubbles in the wrong situations and everything we've talked about. I hope he doesn't go that route. Now, everything that he's told us since he was hired that he was going to do, he's done. He said, I'm not going to be I will not be hiring my friends. I'm not going to be hiring buddies of mine to be the coaching staff of this football team. And he certainly proved that. So to your point, I hope that he takes the advice from these older, more seasoned guys and doesn't just say, no, this is me or nothing. Shut your mouth. It's all up to me. It doesn't seem like he's that guy, right? He doesn't. Time will tell.
Will he get the big head on his shoulders and and act like he's in charge and it's his way or the highway?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Like we said earlier, I hope he gives Jim Leonard free reign and everything we talked about with the defense. Just all of our excitement just takes over, and we're just screaming at turnovers all year long.
Yeah,
like, I can't wait. Sacked. I can't wait to see it.
And I hope he's wise enough to take advice from his elders and John Fox and Carmichael.
100%.
Two coaches that have been, especially Fox, like I said, who's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to the dance twice. He's taken two terrible teams and turned them into Super Bowl contenders. Actually took them to the Super Bowl. So, I hope that he's willing and understanding that these guys can help him in his journey of being a good head coach. The offense will be a Cunningham design scheme based on Josh Strength. Joe is not the OC. That's correct. He will be just call plays. Mm-hmm. McDermott would constantly be a governor on Muscar. And I you know what? That's a great comment. And I believe that is true. Matter of fact, if you go back, was it the Dorsey? Yeah. So if you go back to when Dorsey got fired, if you remember going into that season, McDermott wanted Josh not to run anymore. And if you recall, Josh was barely running, barely. I mean, he was staying in the pocket. He just didn't want Josh. He wanted to quit that, stop it. And I remember when Brady took over, I remember there, and I wish I could find it. There was a press conference and where McDermott said, fuck it. Like pretty much fuck it. I'm just going to let Allen do his thing. like, because we were at the point we were losing, right? Like, and I think he was to the point where it's like, fuck it. What do I like at this point? We just got to go back to doing what worked. It's pretty much what he said, right? That's funny to me. You know what I mean? And that kind of tells me right there, he was trying to shift Allen away from being Allen, right? You can't do that. Like Josh is a different type of quarterback. This is what he does. You got to let him be him. I'm not saying be reckless, but you also can't take it totally away, right? Like, and I feel like he tried to do that multiple times, and it hurt us. And I believe it hurt Allen. And once again, Allen's not the kind. He's not Manning. He's not Brady. He's not going to go McDermott. Fuck. You know who I am? Yeah. Fucking Josh Allen. Right. You want me to stop? No, dude. Like, I'm taking the fuck off here. Like, and Allen's going to do what the coach tells him to do. And he did. And ultimately, it wasn't good. And you see last year, too, I felt like Allen at times when they panned over, he looked defeated at times. He just didn't look like a guy that was happy out there, right? And even he admitted it when he went on a press conference and said, my grandma told me, start having fun again. Remember that? Like, what the fuck kind of comment was that? Like, you know what I mean? He basically read between the lines there, folks. Why would he mention that? He didn't need to, but he mentioned it. He threw it out there for the world to know. I'm not really having fun. This is not what I enjoy doing, right? Like, remember that? Remember that? So everyone's like, grandma's telling them to have fun out there again. Like, fuck's grandma sees that you're not having a good time. I'm excited for that defense. Yeah. So Keys is a defensive guy. Loves his defense. So yeah, you should be. But you should be excited for the whole fucking team, bro. Like I'm telling you guys, this is going to be a fun season. That's why I like I said, guys, this isn't you guys know this. My podcast is not a Homer podcast. I'm not like everything's fucking great here. This isn't, I'm not playing Katy Perry in the background. Like there's things we're going to talk about. It's going to be the good, bad, and ugly. We're going to bring up everything here, but it's just not going to just be a dark cloud constantly where, oh man, we're fucked. We're so fucked. like no, there's good things happening. There is good things happening. You got to kind of sometimes kill the noise, right, from certain individuals and just do your own homework. And look, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I listen, I'm not trying to push anything on you guys. I'm just telling you how I see it in my vision, and Dustin's on his channel telling you the same, right? Like whatever he says, but he's not saying you have to or you're an idiot. Like he's just saying, look, no, this is my feelings. This is what I see. This is why I like it, or this is why I don't like it. Like, and I wish more people would, stop just focusing on one side of the things and just stand back, look at everything as a whole painting, and then do your own homework, do your own judgment. The coach of Carolina might have had input on the offense rule, might have been the scapegoat, who knows? But see, that's my point, right? That's what and that's what I said to you, Dustin. It's like, okay, so if that's the case, same with here, why if you're not comfortable with that type of offense, you didn't need to take the job. One, and if you feel and if you feel like you're that good of a coordinator, then it doesn't matter. You should make it work. You should make it work. If you're if you're a great DC, you should I don't give a fuck. Like Bill Belichick never had the best fucking players on his team. They left. A lot of them left and didn't do shit. But he knew what to do with the players he had in the room, right? He knew those players they gave their best, right? He knew how to get the best out of them. Same with Andy Reid. When you look at the Chiefs team, Don't know those guys are fucking great outside of Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. Those receivers are guys that leave and come back and then go somewhere. No, the same with us. The same type of players, guys. Trust me. But he knows how to use them. He knows how to get the best out of each guy, right? He knows, okay, what's this guy good? Okay, that guy's a 4-3 guy. I'm going to fucking use him in this. I'm going to give him a couple plays a game. That's what I'm going to do here, right? Like, that's what makes those guys special. Yeah, schemes them up.
Yeah.
That was what makes special, right? The McVays of the world, right? The guys that can scheme things up, right? Know what they got. I feel like Dable was there at some point. Like Dable's, for me, when we talk about Dable, I never was big on Dable. However, I will say this about Dable. The dude was really good at knowing what he had in the room, knowing what to do with him, and getting the best out of him. And proof is Isaiah McKenzie, who's not in the league anymore, didn't do shit when he left here. And Isaiah McKenzie was pretty damn good for this offense. I'm not saying he was Cole Beasley, but let's be honest. Isaiah McKenzie was pretty good.
Contributor, though. Yeah.
He was a contributor, right? Like, he knew what to do with him. I got this guy, fast speed. We're going to do this with him. We're going to catch defenses slipping, right? This guy has the speed to catch him. We're going to catch him on a few plays, right? We're going to do some things with this guy, right? We haven't had that here since Dable left. We never had a guy come in and go, all right, what do I got to work with here? All right, I got this guy. Okay, what can we get? Never had that. It's been gone, and I hope to God that changes soon, because it doesn't matter who you draft. We can go and get a fucking 4-3 guy, but if you're not going to use him the correct way, what the fuck's then? What's the point of the speed?
Exactly.
Like,
That's true.
right? So
for sure.
Honestly, I don't know what to expect from the defense this year, but 2 seasons from now, we're going to tell us. I don't think they're that far off. I got to be honest with you, they're not. There is question marks. Will Benford, be the same type of player in a different type of scheme on a man? We'll see. There's a lot of people that say, "Oh, he won't be," but how do you know? we don't know that yet. Let's wait and see. But I still feel like we have playmakers here on defense. So I wouldn't necessarily say, it's going to take a couple years for this defense to really take fold. But I don't know. I think this defense could actually have a nice turnaround season this year with this coaching staff. I do. And it's also about player development, and that's another thing too. When we talk about draft picks and you guys talk about bust and guys that haven't worked out, why haven't they worked out? Has it been bad coaching? All right. Has any of these players developed the right way? We had OG Bobby Johnson, who I hated here. Offensive line coach did nothing. What did we do? We got Cromer. What happened? Offensive line changed just like that. Right? Just like that, guys. Positional coaches mean the world. Why? Why do you have OTAs? Why do you have mini camps? Because these players get one-on-ones with these coaches, right? To take their game to the next level, especially the young cats. And I don't feel like it's been the greatest in the past. I don't feel like we've had the greatest coaching staff on board, right? To get these players playing at a higher level, especially the young guys, right? So, we'll see when it comes to guys like Keon Coleman that still, look, I still think Keon Coleman can contribute. I don't know at what level, but I still have some hope for Keon Coleman if his maturity can get better. But then you got guys like Cole Bishop, who's not even hit a ceiling yet. Imagine, right? If he continues to work hard, continues to get with these coaches one-on-one, I mean, his game could get better and better and better. Like, that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, let's wait and see how this thing works out. Gregor Rousseau is also a young cat, man. He's young, right? The guy still probably hasn't hit his ceiling. So let's wait and see on some of these guys, man. Ed Oliver, same thing, man. Leonard can run a variation of what he wants. It's not going to take years to get frisky. Exactly. D will get better next year, and I agree. I do. I think you're going to see a better version of this defense next year. And I think, honestly, players are probably refreshing to some of them. I honestly believe that. I do think McDermott at times was – I don't think he trusted his players a lot of the time. That's why he went soft zone. He didn't want to give up big plays. That's why he didn't get a lot of. He wasn't aggressive in certain situations. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's more on. So like he was afraid his defense would let him down, so he was playing this soft zone crap. I don't know.
I that could certainly be a possibility, but did he not have anything to do with getting those players there, whether it was via the draft or free agency? Like
He did. I think he played a part. Yeah, I'm not. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to totally knock what McDermott did either. I think he worked great with DBs. I thought he did with the DBs and safeties. I thought he did an excellent job with them, with Benford and Cole Bishop. Like I'm not going to totally knock him on that. Yeah. It was more, it was more about the scheme that got old and got played out, and teams started to dice it up. And I think Cincinnati was the original team to kind of go, okay, this is how you beat that defense. You take what they're going to get. They're going to give us these short, and we're just going to slice and dice down the field, right? And that's how you beat the Buffalo Bills. So, now that that's changing, it's funny too when you look back at last season. Remember, Dustin? I think 2 coaches came out. It was a coach and some players were like, everything we saw on film, they brought to the table. They did nothing different. Nothing was different.
Right.
It was the same old thing. It was easy to beat, right? Yep. We knew it was coming. Like you can't be like that. Like this league is evolving, right? You have to defenses get better every year, right? Like you got to switch it up. And I just feel like he was stuck in that spot where I think he just believed it would work, stick to what he knew best, and it fell apart, really, honestly. It just never really kind of worked. We're going to get out of here soon, man, because my dude right here was like, I don't think I can do it in an hour. Hey, I appreciate you, Dustin, man, for rocking with me tonight.
Oh, no.
By the way. Sean is the Jerry Jones of head coaches. Absolute power corrupted and poisoned the entire staff. Absolutely. Beane and McDermott were on the even level. That has been corrected. Owner above GM, president above head coach. Yeah. So it was backwards here, right? A little bit. And you don't see that much where a coach kind of does the hiring of a GM. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen a lot. And I feel like McDermott had a little power trip there. I do think that towards the end, that chain was starting to break, right? And it's possible that Pagula, read between the lines, kind of saw McDermott trying to call Beane out during this past year a couple times. Probably didn't like that.
He did.
Right? And so that could have cost him too.
The trade, nothing happened.
He did.
The trade deadline, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
He mentioned the one guy, Ingram, who, by the way, it's so funny when people talk about that. If he was so goddamn important, why didn't you call him up? Why wasn't he on the 53? We had injuries. You never called him up. Never. If he was so great, if he was this guy that you were so sold on, he was on our team for like 2 years. Why,
right.
And why was he always on the right? Like nobody cared about Brandon, and then fans acting like, oh, we lost Ingram. Guys, stop. Ingram wasn't even.
And he only came up because he had a good first game with, I forgot where he went, but he had an interception or something, and so it's like, worst move ever, letting that guy walk. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Worst ever. Remember, it was said about the receiver too that went to the Giants. We let that guy go. I'm like, dude, stop. What was his name? Fucking guy who was on our team forever. I'm like, he's on the practice squad for a reason. like stop. I forget his name, but remember him? He was the guy we drafted. Guy we drafted. Yeah. Right. Constantly hurt. Keys, Leffel, I think I am high. I am as high on Leonard as you are on Beane because I literally see no holes on the defense. Damn. Okay, Keys. I would say we need a nose tackle. Like that was one position I'm a little still not comfortable with what we have in the room. And I would say I'm not sold on Dorian Williams. I know you are, Keys, from what I heard.
Okay,
I don't
so
hate
Dorian
him, but I
and
don't.
Terrell Bernard.
Yeah,
Is that what he's
I
pulled
just. Yeah, I just. So
on?
here's the thing.
We gotta have a run stopper, don't we?
Yeah, I think Bernard gets moved out to outside linebacker. I think that's probably best suited for him.
Yep.
I'm just not sold on Dorian. I like him as depth, but I'm not sold on him just yet. We'll see. Once again, he's young, and if these coaches are what I think they are, maybe they can develop him into a better player, and we'll see. And if they believe in that, okay, you know what? I'll go with that. But I do believe I almost feel like they're going to draft a linebacker in this draft. I could be wrong.
I think they have to address it.
Yeah.
In the draft.
So what do you think they got to address in this draft real quick? Because I know we're going to get out here soon, but what would your...
Well, I was a big time proponent of the DJ Readers of the world but we didn't know whether they were going to make these free agent signings prior to or after the draft. So being that it doesn't look like they will, I feel like it would have happened already. I would say I actually think that if he's there's two guys that are must takes at 26, in my opinion. If they're both there, I think it's a good problem to have. Caden McDonald out of Ohio State as a nose tackle. True nose tackle, one tech. I think he's leaps and bounds above the Lee Hunter even of the world, who I'm okay with if you're trading back, taking him in the second round. If you're going to then go after like a Josiah Trotter or a Jacob Rodriguez style linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
But my number one player in this draft for the Buffalo Bills, I hope he's available, and I would lose my mind if we got him, is Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon, to pair up with Cole Bishop. And I know we just signed two safeties. I love Gardner Johnson. Don't get me wrong. For a 1-year deal, though, I'm coin toss on Geno Stone. I think he's just depth, period. But just an absolute fly all over the place wrecker, but a center fielder as well. Ball hawk Dylan Thieneman to pair with Cole Bishop for the next 8 years. That's my number one. And if neither one of those two are available, I say you you trade back and grab another couple of picks. But I think nose tackle for sure. That's why I say Caden McDonald. I think linebacker for sure. And then depending on what kind of picks you can get, if you trade back, then you take another wide receiver that is a big separation guy like the Concepcion. I like him. I know he has drop issues too, but I like his separation and his speed. And some of these other guys I'm just not as high on as others are, to be honest with you. And then there's a lot, including Concepcion, though, that are injury prone and, recently off of injuries. So I don't know that I draft a question mark. I go for the real deal, more best player available, but I'm more defensive side of the football this year. I know it's been that way for a while, but that's what I go after. I need the nose tackle and I need the linebacker. But if Dylan Thieneman's there, it's a must run to the podium, in my opinion.
I saw a name getting floated around today. Landon Robinson from Navy.
Oh yeah, yes.
Who's a guy that they could get later in the draft?
He's like a fifth or so, right?
He's like I guess he's like a benches 465, squats 655. He's a
yes.
Yeah, he's a beast, right? So interesting. Like that would if you're not going to draft one later, that's an interesting player that might have some upside if you get him later in the draft. I want to hate that a kind of player with that kind of upside and that
Tim
kind of
Beane
strength.
Third from Alabama as well. If we're going to go later in the draft,
For Keys coming in, I agree. McDermott didn't trust his players completely. You notice they sucked when we were injured. He didn't trust the depth. Like Saunders said, McDermott never said it was a bull roster. I feel like at times he just, in key moments, felt like he just didn't trust his defense completely. And that's why you see a lot of soft zone or a lot of, if you ever noticed too, he called timeouts like crazy. Like all these third downs and they never worked. Have you ever noticed that? He'd call a timeout. You would think he's like, okay, I'm doing it because I want to see what the offense is, right? And we would constantly give up the big play. just still give up a first down. Like, he
Eviscerated
did nothing in the timeout, right? It was a meaningless timeout. Like, all the time. I'm like, McDermott, don't even bother because you're giving up the first down. 3rd and long, forget about it. It's happening. You know, the Hail Mary on Aaron Rodgers that everybody forgot about. Like, what are you doing there? Why are you rushing 3? Like putting like everybody on the side. Like I like things like with him just like drove me insane, man. But that's gone.
I'm with you.
It's over with, right? Like, you know, and I always say too, you can't change the past. You know, I know we're talking about it. And by the way, every Sunday at 1, and then I'm continuing this Sunday at 1, 2002, Down and Drought. We're on the 2002 year, episode 3. This is where it gets interesting. We just got Drew Bledsoe. So join me at 1 o'clock, you guys. Down and Drought, going through the history of the drought years. And we will be on 2002. But let's see here. We're going to get out of here soon because I know my man's tired here, man. He's been on the field. What were you doing farming today or something, right? With the cows or something, you said, right?
Yeah. We live on like a ranch farm, and we have beef cattle that we operate. And I was out messing with the water system. It always gives me a pain, you know. And the weather up here in upstate New York is freezing one day and then 68 degrees the next. Like it's it's crazy. So we just had a really cold day today after the shit had thawed out. So it freezes up and it's just constant. But it's fun. I enjoy it.
I'm in Detroit, man. So like anytime when it's cold here, I know it's cold. It's like we're so close. We're not far apart, you know.
Yeah, right. Similar for sure.
Real quick, what do you think of the stadium, and what do you think of the Buffalo? Because I saw you had a quick little video about the Buffalo. Or you talked about the Buffalo. What's your thoughts on the stadium? How it's coming along, and your thoughts on the Buffalo?
Stadium, fantastic. I hate that so many less people will be able to enjoy the games on a daily basis with the seat count going down. Obviously, that sucks for us as fans. It's a business move, and I get it, but stadium looks freakishly cool. Just like the Death Star, whatever the hell they call that thing out in Vegas. So it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb in the middle of Orchard Park, I'll be honest, but it's going to be great. I think the experience there is going to be phenomenal. I was lucky enough to get a tour during construction, being that nice. I do have a ranch farm. Grass is very important to me, growing grass naturally. So I got to ask a lot of questions of the engineers about how their surface was. So the natural grass with the elements underneath the grass to keep irrigated, melt snow. Snow on the field is not going to be an issue anymore because it's heated as well. So the stadium's going to be great. The Bison, when I first saw that, truthfully now, I said, what the hell are those things? That is not
artsy.
Bison, okay.
Artsy Bison.
Yeah, it's what is the word? Abstract. And the lady that engineered them is an international artist. Sculpture artist. I will say this. When they're colored, because they have the ability to change the color at any moment in time, they're going to match with the holiday or whatever.
Right.
It gives them a little bit more oomph, and I think it shows the what it actually is. But the pure size is what's really cool.
True. Yeah. The 20.
So I gotta get 27 foot tall. The bull is, I think it's like 30 something feet long, and they weigh 23,000 pounds. Now the other two are not as big, but I think the size is awesome. I think it's going to take a firm stance, and what they have around them, which is kind of like a wall of fame, so to speak, with stanchions of all the older ex-Bills players, is awesome too, with some benches you can sit and read a little thing about them. So I think that's going to be awesome. Overall, the idea is phenomenal. I think it's going to be really super cool, and I think that they'll grow on me. Although my first reaction was, whoa, but I'm not an art guy, all right? I don't have that creative side to me, so I was like, what the hell's that thing over there? But they'll grow on me, I'm sure.
I'm in the same boat. I think for me, okay, thoughts on the stadium. I think the stadium, a lot of people are mentioning it like a toilet bowl. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of looks like a toilet bowl seat. However, I don't care. It's about what's inside and all the cool, like, it to me, like, what are you doing in the stadium? Like, is the seating comfortable? Is the sound great? Is the feel great for the players? Like, you know, everything. You know what I mean? Like, is it a good experience when you walk in? Because, by the way, very expensive, right, to go to a game. Are you giving me? Am I going to be impressed when I walk in? I don't give a shit about the outside on top. I'm not. Yeah, no one cares about the outside top of the stage. Anyways. What they care about is when they walk through those doors, right? How's the seating? How's it look when I'm at this particular seat? Can I see things really good? Can I hear things? Is the concession stands awesome? Like, the bathroom, like that's what people care. They want a good experience, right? And I think they're going to provide that. Now with the Buffalo Bison, I don't like the artsy thing. I gotta be real with you. Like, I don't mind the stainless steel or silver, whatever I'm with that because they could change color. That's really cool. I wish they would have went with the older approach. Like, because what they said was the stadium wanted to be new, but they were doing like making it retro with the design of the or whatever. Like so they're throwing some retro in with new. Like, for me, I would have preferred just mean old, just a actually bison. Give me a
bronze statue or something, right?
Yes, an actual
with the fur, the hair, and the with it.
Exactly. That's it. Or if you want to go crazy, they give me an angry bison. Maybe just bulk them up a little bit. Maybe you could make them look a little meaner. Whatever. The smoke coming.
Yeah.
That would have been fine. But the whole artsy where it's. I don't know the way it's done. Like you said, maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe once I see it, I'm like, oh shit, okay, But right now, I'm like, like, did they need to go artsy with it? Like, you didn't need to go like, just give me some mean looking motherfucking bison. Throw them motherfuckers out there. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Like intimidation.
That's
the other teams are gonna go look at this, area of the outside of the stadium. But it's like. Just be a little mean, and I kind of like what we're looking for out of Josh Allen. Like, a little attitude here,
Right, a little attitude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're gonna get to last year comments, and we gotta bounce, man. My dude's been out in the field, man. I trust most of all the players. I just iffy on their durability. Yeah, and that's all. That you know what? It's been a problem here. However, with that being said, a lot of our injuries happen during practice, and McDermott seemed to be pushing these players a little bit too much and injured players a little bit too much during practice. We had guys going into practice injured, coming out with a different injury.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? Like
during rehab also.
Right, during rehab. How is this guy rehabbing his, his ankle and now coming out with a knee injury, so his elbow injury? Like, what is going on here? Like, so I felt like, they did keep the strength and conditioning coach, which I was a little iffy on
by the team too.
Yeah, but I almost feel like the way Beane talked about it was this wasn't really so much on that. This is the guy that was pushing the players that were probably not feeling the best and overloading them and getting them hurt or their rehab was taking longer because he was fucking around having them out there sooner than they should have been. Like, just throwing that out there too. So that we'll see.
It was out of hand, the injuries. I will say that for sure.
We don't have a traditional nose. They can run a 2-eye and a 3, or they could shade the nose too, is what Keith's saying. I get it, but I was still like an actual traditional nose tackle. I'm not saying I get your point. I understand that but
then you got to move everybody else around too. Like with Eddie Oliver and Deion Walker, that's why I say I want a nose, because those other two guys are perfect.
And Deion's not,
and 5 almost.
Exactly. And Deion's not. He's top heavy. He's not a traditional. I don't know if that role would ever fit for him.
No,
personally,
he got asked to do it too much last year.
Yeah, and I feel like how you stop the run, or how Ed Oliver, to get Ed Oliver playing at his best, you need a guy that could clog the lanes a little bit there. You need that Ted Washington kind of guy, right? Yep. You need that big nose tackle out there that could take on the offensive linemen. It's a couple offensive linemen, and then makes Ed Oliver's job way easier. You know what I mean? And we haven't had that forever. So that's what I want. And I understand what you're saying, Keys, and maybe they don't go that route. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess who knows?
All right, guys. So we're going to get out of here, man.
I just
Ralph
think that if you can free up Eddie Oliver and Deion Walker and Greg Russo and Bradley Chubb, I mean, you're talking 40 sacks almost, like, I don't know, 10 apiece, but 30 sacks for those 4 boys. Like, I really think that's a thing. I mean, really, honest to God, think that's a thing.
Groot's been, on average around 7 to 8 here. Right. I don't know if he'll ever be that 10 guy, but he did get 15 in college. Just saying. I know it's college. I get it. His
2-point stance, staying on the left side of the line because Bradley Chubb likes the right, he likes the left. A lot of things are falling into place here.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Is it possible for him to get 10? I do think, yeah. You know what I mean? Could he be consistent?
20 between Chubb and him. And I mean, I don't care.
That would be a lovely, and that would be phenomenal. And then you got Ed Oliver too. Also a guy that gets to the quarterback. So for me, what's been missing with the getting to the quarterback for me is the push up the middle. Right, the push up the middle just hasn't been there. Right. And our edges are taking these wide fucking angles, and I hope that changes too. I don't know why these super wide angles, and then this quarterback just steps up. There's no pressure. There's nothing coming down the middle. So it's been a problem, and I'm hoping that changes. The turf was way worse in the 90s. Yeah, so thank God they're going to grass. I wish they would go to grass in every stadium. It would really the players want it. That's what they're telling the owners, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're analytics guy or this guy says it doesn't. We're telling you, our bodies feel
correct
way better after games playing on grass than it does turf. I don't give a fuck about what your guy says or what analytic. We're telling you how we feel. Go to grass. It's a fucking grass. Like, soccer players demand grass, by the way. If soccer could do it, you do it.
They don't
you know what I mean?
On that
no.
Either. No.
All right, guys. So, where can they find you? Dustin, Cold Front. Let them know.
Cold Front Buffalo. I appreciate it. Cold Front Buffalo on YouTube, Cold Front Reel on X, and TikTok also, Cold Front Buffalo. So, I appreciate it, man. We got to do this more often. I really
100%. It was dude, I had a great time with you, man. Me and you we think alike, man. I like that, dude. Yeah, Mikey you'll get along with Mikey too. Mikey's a hell of a co-host, and I think you guys will agree with a lot as well. But man, go help him out, man. He's a growing channel. He just started this channel last year, this past season, I think.
About I want to say week 12 of the regular season. Roughly midway through the year.
He's a newbie. He's a real newbie. So support this dude. He's putting the work in, putting shorts in. He's on. I see him posting like crazy on X. So go ahead and support him over there, man. He's also he goes on Dan Mitchell's as a guest here and there as well. So definitely support him, man. And I appreciate that from you guys, man. So Bills Mafia, man. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Dustin, for coming on. I'll see you guys Sunday at 1:00 for episode 3, 2002. And Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. We're out of here. Peace.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't forget, when you're NWO for life. Too sweet.